friend Big Al.
What's going on, my man, Kestutis?
Oh man, like every time we get together, we talk about some crazy stuff, huh?
Yes, we do. Quite a bit of crazy stuff.
What's up with that?
Well, I think a lot about a lot of things, and my mind goes into a million different places, and you always seem to follow. So it just works. It's like centrifugal force. It just moves together in motion.
It seems like a lot of things that we're saying are the same stuff, maybe looking at different way.
Well, yeah. It's like an echo. It's I might say one thing, and then you have a either an expanded view of it or a retracted view, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But it's never like opposing. It's just a little more more elaborate or
I know we make music together. That's what
right.
you're trying to say.
Exactly.
Make music together.
Yeah, man. It's I don't know. What do you want to start talking about?
So we're supposed to talk about living on Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're supposed to talk about how to live on Bitcoin in the United States of America, and how to pay minimal. Let's just say how to minimize your tax exposure.
Yeah.
Right, because there's a lot of confusion of what you do. I'm starting using Bitcoin. Like, what's up with the taxes now?
Yeah.
And a lot of people may not go into Bitcoin because they're confused of, how to do there. Because not only people are confused, the government is confused too.
Oh, 100%. The government is most definitely confused. So as it stands right now, Bitcoin is taxed as if it were a capital asset, meaning that. Or think about like stocks and bonds.
Right.
You can purchase a stock at one price.
Yeah.
And if it goes up in price and you sell it at the higher price, it's capital gains taxes.
Right.
But if I were to pay you as an employee or vice versa, then that's taxed as income.
Right.
So
I'll ask you the question, straight up question. So if a person uses Bitcoin and never cashes out, like for example, you rendered some service, you receive Bitcoin, and now you may give another person to render service to you, right? Now, at no point do you need to exit into a dollar. What do you got to say about that in terms of taxes?
Well, it's the transaction date. So if Bitcoin is exchanged, whether it's turned into a U.S. currency or not.
We're not turning into a U.S. currency.
Yeah, exactly.
We're having our own little economy going.
Yeah, if you exchange Bitcoin with me for a service that I do for you, then at the date of the exchange, for tax purposes, I'd have to convert the fair market value of the cryptocurrency at that point in time, and that's the income that I would have to recognize.
So you're forced to convert.
Well, on paper, I'm not forced to liquidate it into some sort of dollar amount. It's just, at that point in time. I see.
But what about all the capital gains that you get?
Yeah.
You have to pay that too, right?
Yes, you do.
Oh,
but
man.
so the thing is, what's lowering your tax exposure with cryptocurrency is the same thing as lowering your tax exposure with anything else. Do it through a business. Right. And then anything that you pay me is an expense to you. But anything I earn, then I have to make sure that I keep up with all of the expenses associated or that could be associated with that income as well. Because everything's taxed one of three ways. It's either taxed, it's income taxes, or taxed as earned, passive, or portfolio income. Portfolio income is usually taxed at 15% with qualified dividends. Passive income is like income that you get to subtract all your expenses from, and then earned income, which is the worst one of all, but it's taxed at the regular tax rate. So if we're exchanging things through Bitcoin, then what we need to worry about is timing. All right. So let's just say that you purchased $1,000 worth of Bitcoin 2 years ago. Now, today it's worth $3,000.
Right.
I do a service for you and you pay me that $3,000.
Yeah.
So now what happens is you have to recognize $2,000 worth of capital gains on that Bitcoin. But for the service I did for you, that's a $3,000 expense. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shouldn't you live like in a place where there's no capital gains? Is that like not the best solution?
Oh no, capital gains. The biggest thing about
because
that
if you're using Bitcoin in business, and you're a United States citizen, like you're exposed to that. So, perhaps living somewhere like in Puerto Rico or something like that, would not you not end up paying any capital gains tax, and all you have to do is just live for 6 months in Puerto Rico.
But like if you're a U.S. citizen,
like a vacation.
Yeah. Well, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, U.S. citizens may not pay capital gains if they reside in Puerto Rico for 6 months and do business from there.
If the transaction is solely based virtually, but if any transaction occurs, like if I fly to the U.S. from Puerto Rico and do the service for you in the U.S. and you as a U.S.-based company pays me for that physical U.S. service, then I have to pay taxes on it. But if I provide the services virtually and I live in Puerto Rico, then your concept works.
Then it
works.
Correct. Yeah. Okay, so like, that's one way.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't want to pay all the capital gains on the Bitcoin,
I'll be honest with you. This is the biggest thing, and it's going to sound crazy when I say it, but the IRS doesn't know how to find a lot of these transactions unless it's through. So I'm like extremely.
I have a scenario for you. Like,
okay,
I'm walking down the forest, and then there's another dude right in front of me, and he has 3 goats, and I say like, hey, I like one of these goats. Can you sell me for Bitcoin? It's like, yeah, sure. We exchange transaction, and he walks with the 2 goats. I walk with 1.
Yeah.
In the middle of the forest, nobody's seeing.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that? Like, think about the ridiculousness of one of us saying like, oh yes, but sure, let me just notify this some sort of weird organization.
That's like, what I'm getting at.
That's just a personal exchange of value between each other.
Bro, that's what I'm getting at. The thing is like, the only way the IRS knows is if somebody reports it. Period. Like if the transaction happens between us, because there is no middleman.
Buy goats in the forest.
But yeah, so the IRS wouldn't know, since there's no middleman with Bitcoin. It's just between you and I. There's no single repository that has to record that transaction.
It's going to be very difficult to track all that.
Yeah, unless I use a popular wallet like Coinbase that sees all my transactions, then that's you're gonna get they're gonna get notified. But if it's through your way, because I'm a novice, I only have Coinbase.
The best way to see if we can have this like a little Bitcoin economy going, like you accept Bitcoin, and my assistant accept Bitcoin, and my handyman accept Bitcoin. It's like have your own little personal economy going.
Yeah, 100%. You could do it. Just have to make sure that you don't have any dissenters or somebody that defects from the economy that you created and rats you out.
Yeah.
So to say.
Oh my God. So it's all about the rats.
Yeah.
It's all about the rats.
But yeah, the crazy thing is,
we're looking the wrong way.
Yeah, it's just don't let anybody know, man. There's transactions that happen all the time that are supposed to be taxed, but there's no way of tracing it, and it's so insignificant or so inconsistent that it's. So yeah, I don't see why anybody that has the mindset to live in a Bitcoin community or cryptocurrency life that would voluntarily report and expose themselves to pay taxes on it. That's not even the mindset that people that are into cryptocurrencies have.
So everybody who like takes cash in hand, that's sort of the same thing.
100%, brother. Do you know how many small business
owners?
That's
Bitcoin in hand. Let's just brand it now. Okay?
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Are you doing Bitcoin in hand? Yeah, I do.
That's code word for.
There you go.
Yeah, I get away from taxes. Yeah, not for real.
Just like cash in hand was.
Yeah. Well, it still is.
Still is. Yeah.
Come on, man. Listen to there's so many in North Park, which is a community in San Diego. Most of the
San Diego.
most of the store owners they only accept cash, and they report to the IRS whatever they want to report.
Right.
It's wrong, but it's done, and it's I have to say that because I'm an enrolled agent and I have to
absolutely.
But listen to me.
Do you think
this
message?
Do you think they're really saying, "Oh yeah, we collected $700,000 this year," or they're reporting?
No. I do not believe that.
Of course,
I think that like we can be like ostriches and put our heads in the sand, right?
Yeah.
And just pretend that just because we made a law that is like not created underground freaking world,
yeah,
and you have the exactly same, a number of transactions, exactly same portion of economy, just that you don't see it anymore. Brother. You create your own illusion.
It's great. I remember I was thinking about this earlier. I was in school and I had one or two teachers. They weren't professors. I was like middle school or high school.
Yeah.
Where you would take a test and the teacher would say, "All right, everybody, you're going to grade your own tests." And they stand up in the front of the class and say, "All right, number 1, you should have had A. If you didn't have A, mark it wrong."
Right.
Now, there was a bunch of squares like myself that would mark it wrong. But then there were quite a few others that said, "Oh, it was A, huh?" They'll erase it and put A.
Yeah.
And they'll give them, they'll mark one
talking
wrong customarily. But
the bureaucrats, is that what you're talking
about?
Yeah. My God. But have you know this cartoon Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
Have you seen the bureaucrats episode?
No, I haven't seen that.
Check it out.
I need to check it out.
Oh my God.
A lot of people.
They're bureaucrats, Morty. I don't respect them. Because he said that one of the characters, actually the group of characters they're actually robots. He said, don't worry, Morty. Shoot them. They're robots. And then he shot one, and then with the whole emotional crying, and then everybody's helping, and there was like, you told me that they're robots.
I've really got to check it out.
They said they're bureaucrats, just like robots.
Automatons. Man, it's just there's so many things, man. Like when you understand anything, you start to realize that so much of it is propped up on very frail legs.
Right.
And you start to learn how to get around it legally. Everything that's set up legally from a tax perspective, the Uniform Commercial Code, it's set up for the sole purpose of making sure that the general public operates the way that it should, and everybody that's really in the know operates right outside the boundaries and use it in their advantage.
Yeah.
So think about it. It's kind of like our school system. With the school system, and I support people going to college, but the school system is built to help you become an employee for somebody else.
Right, exactly.
But
you're the school system is a conveyor belt.
100%.
Can you believe that?
I can.
And actually, we just had a conversation with the beautiful lady over there just earlier about this subject. About what do you do with like kids these days? Do you like go with the flow and create another economic slave, because obviously let's just not be afraid of that word, because we are currently living in an economic slavery right now.
So with kids, man, it's like with everything else, it's based on your personality. When you are raising multiple kids, you don't train them the same way, teach them the same way, or reprimand them the same way. You reprimand them based on what they receive. Now, of course, there's a certain there's a blanket way that you treat them. You treat none of the kids should be your favorite,
Right. Yeah, of course.
None of the kids.
What do you do about that? Like, everybody's special.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Is it like, do you like find a compromise or
what?
Or just like hide it?
No. Every kid's special in some sort of way. So you just point out that one way.
Yeah, and everybody knows that they're special, and and each one of them been lied to. Like,
but back to the whole, like with the personality situation is like some kids, they could go to college and get the social aspect because life is about networking, man. It's all about relationships.
Yeah.
So if you can go to
Into
college,
the web.
Yep. If you can go to college and build the relationships necessary to help you achieve success, if that's your thing, the way that you go about it, then go for it. But if you're in college because you believe that this academic education is actually going to allow you to ascend to the heights of success, then I don't think college is for you.
Wrong.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
The way I see it, and the way that's how it kind of worked for me, when I was studying, and I was a student for quite a while, was that at some point, the process, man, I got stuck.
But it's all right, but because you got 3 degrees or 4 degrees.
Oh yeah. I have about 2 degrees.
2 degrees. All right.
Yeah.
And one of them's in like chemical engineering, or
No, I'm actually geneticist and biologist.
geneticist. That's right.
Yeah.
You know about this gene
I'm a
splicing.
master. I'm not a PhD.
Okay.
I was the only one who didn't have a PhD in my team in
Okay.
the genetic institute at Sanger.
Yeah, and so you were talking about the process. So there was something about the process. Did it become monotonous? Did it become mundane? Was it something that you wanted to veer away from, or you appreciated it?
For me, it was like an experience.
Okay.
It's not like to learn from it. It's like how to learn.
Yeah.
You learn how to learn.
Yeah.
And there's like that curiosity, because I always, no matter what the subject I had, I always went with what I liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to find the best overlap, whatever's in the curriculum.
Yeah.
And but I never expected to apply anything in life what I learned there, right?
Uh-huh.
So I went there to the experience as just like the process, and I took what I wanted from it.
Yeah.
I never expected, like that's what you said. You said like, hey, if you expect to actually graduate and just have an amazing job in a cubicle, then even that,
Yeah.
now people are aspiring to be a cubicle worker in some big financial company. You know what I mean? That's what they're aspiring to. It's spending how many years? So many years just to be that.
Yeah.
And and Jim Carrey says like, hey, you're probably gonna fail at a thing that you don't want. So you might as well try to go for the thing you want.
Yeah, 100%. Man, it's so true, man. So my degree was in mechanical engineering. I don't do a lick of mechanical engineering right now, but I did like the way, because that's why I keyed in on when you were talking about process, because I like the process that they go through with breaking situations or breaking things down and rebuilding it back up and building redundancies and so forth. But yet and still, man, the reason I stayed in it is because my grades were so low that I couldn't transfer to the business school. So I ended up having to, get an MBA and learn, more stuff about business. But then I didn't even need to do that, to be honest with you, man. But you live, you learn.
You live, you learn, man. You live, you learn.
Yeah, school is something else. But I'm not knocking it.
But you know what? Everything that I learned somehow fits together. Yeah. Now in my life, I'm going through life, and just like, oh, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I know how to do that. And it was sort of like more driven by faith than specific goal.
I agree. Yeah. Because see, the thing is like, there's so much that we already know. It's just plain common sense. But for the people that reflect, because I think most learning happens through discovery, and not because a teacher up front told you or taught you.
Yeah.
It's through discovery, and most discovery is self-discovery.
Right.
And people that are discoverers are thinkers and reflectors. And because you reflect on certain things, it helps put pieces of the puzzle together in life or whatnot.
Right.
But if you weren't, because I do know people where things have to be explained line by line, jot by jot, tittle by tittle. But others that somehow magically know, let me try this way, and then it works for them. Right. And over here, let me try that way. Oh, it didn't work. A quick adjustment. But because you think, because you reflect, because you've learned how to learn.
I think it's a little bit easier than that.
All right.
I think it's just like you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you just go with your heart. But it's very difficult to go with your heart when it's like all these programs around your heart guarding that, whatever that is. So you don't know. Like, and people even had that question. It's like, what is my path, and what is my purpose? People ask that question. But it's like right there.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just take all this other stuff out. Man. It's just you know it. You're like,
of course.
But I know I was one of them. Like it was like it was right there, but you just can't quite see it. You can't quite catch it.
Yeah.
And I think that the reason you can't see it, because like how are you going to like you can't touch this finger with the same finger. Not possible.
Yeah.
So you have to have some sort of like a witness state.
Yeah.
To actually look at it from that perspective, and that is intuition.
Yeah.
And when you get into the intuition, then you can just like see the whole thing is like, of course, it's effortless.
And that's what I was thinking about this.
And everything's just like flowing through you.
How in the world did you
somehow.
find Bitcoin? How did you find that, hey, this is the lane that you need to be in? Because when I met you for the first time, I don't know, you didn't talk about it that much.
Right.
So I'm not sure how deep you were in it back then or not, but just to see how just you and your psyche and your whole mannerisms, way of being and everything fits perfectly within this world, this society, and to the point that you're teaching about, Bitcoin and so forth. How did you get into it and it be revealed that this is your thing?
I say the honest answer is it just happened. That's and then if you want me to rationalize, then I can rationalize.
Yeah, please. I need more than it just happened.
It just happened. Because, Bitcoin, I found out in Bitcoin I think quite early. 2011 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't really make a mental shift in my mind till way later. 2013 when I really read a lot about Bitcoin, and because there was all these new science magazines coming out with the Bitcoin. So I'm just like, hey, so I was reading a lot about it, but still, even though I understood that I'm comparing something that is backed up by a time and energy, that we all measure time, energy, space, it's all the same stuff, right? That's the only thing that we have in this physical universe, Yeah,
the measurements of those three dimensions,
right.
Time, space, and energy.
Because if I spend time in my effort, that's valuable, and then if you spend time in your effort, then we can exchange. That's equal exchange of value. Bitcoin can do that, and dollar cannot. And it can't do it because if I'm exchanging something for nothing, for example, they create that currency out of nothing, right? There was no time required to spend. There was no energy, and just poof, made up. So now they ruined the economy. They ruined they took the value from the people because now we're exchanging something that keeps diluting.
Yeah.
So it's just like that. We're trading sand. And every time just less and less and less and less, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Where did it all go?
But what caused the mental shift? That's what I'm trying to get at. What caused it where you knew about it, you researched it, it's cool to you're all in?
Yeah. Actually, it happened very quickly. For about 2 years, from 13 to 15, I had that mental block. I knew it that I should do it, but I would never just make that because I was programmed as well. I was programmed to value fiat. And it's it's all like this, that's like a known, so you don't want to kind of jump out of it, even though you're rationally and in every single way you understand that that's what you should be doing. Just behaviorally, you're still lagging behind. And then
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
And then at one point, I came and it was like, you know what, I have to do it. There was nothing it's it was just time for me,
Yeah.
And then I took everything that I got and put it in Bitcoin.
So the part that I smiled at the most when you were just talking was the aspect that you said mentally you understood it, but behaviorally you were still acting different. And then once the behaviors changed, everything changed. And It's crazy because I believe we got three parts: spirit, soul, and body. And the crazy thing is, even though you can know it in your spirit, believe it in your soul, but if you're not doing it with your body, nothing manifests or translates.
And when you're doing it wrong.
Exactly. But once you start doing it, once the behavior changes to accommodate what you say you believe and know, then that's when reality shifts completely and works towards the advantage of what you actually believe.
Tell me, isn't it the weirdest thing that you can have on one hand the knowingness of it, and on the other hand complete recklessness about it, and every time do it and you know it, why did you do it? Damn it, I still, you know what I mean? And so how is that you have those two personas or identities or whatever, they are not the same. One is knowing, the other one is doing. And sort of the knowing already knows, but sometimes the doer doesn't do because of this all programs running.
They call that cognitive dissonance. Have you heard of that term?
Yeah.
So it's believing one thing but doing something totally different. And And a lot of that is either from muscle memory or it could be from.
No, I think it's from being human. It's just a straight up symptom of being Homo sapiens.
I gotcha. I'm telling you. Probably so, because everybody's got it. There's so many things that we know that we're just not doing.
Right.
And once we start doing it, then, man, the shift. I think that's why shifts happen.
But that's the thing. When how can you say what caused the shift? And what
do you mean? How can you say that?
How can you say what caused the shift? It just happens because the knowing and the doing becomes the same. When does it happen? Does it take 2 years? Does it take 1 month? Does it take 5 weeks? Does it 5 seconds?
It's instantaneous.
It can be any time. But that's the thing. So why are you delaying to that instantaneous change?
Well, because you haven't reached a breaking point.
Exactly. But what made you not reach it yet?
I don't know.
That's what I mean. It just happens. It's all recorded. It's a movie. We're watching it and we're enjoying it. Yeah. And if you don't bring popcorn to this movie, man, you're missing the point.
Yeah. Well, all right. So some people, because if we keep thinking about this, I know a lot of cats that don't change their health until they get a heart scare or some
traumatic event.
Yeah, exactly.
One of them. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, definitely.
That's one thing that could cause the breaking point. Mm-hmm. And then mentally, some people snap. Be honest with you, man. I've had 2 snaps in my lifetime, man.
You snapped at
mentally, where.
What happened?
Man, it was with a lady, man, and she was just talking crazy, and
did you cut her up?
No, absolutely not, man. But I was driving.
I had to ask you.
No, come on now. I'm not gonna incriminate myself, even if I did. But no. But man, I was driving, man, and I snapped just because the stuff she was saying. I tried my best to accommodate it, and then when I accommodated it, that's not what I wanted. I was like, wait a minute, that was what you wanted. Oh, you're right, but I changed my mind, and it had been like that for years. Let me
school you, brother.
I've listened. Well, that was many moons ago, many years ago. So, yeah, and before my current wife, you're great. So it's just, man. So I had that snap, and then there was another time where. When did I have that other snap? I think it was when I turned 30 years old, man. I remember when I was younger, I was like, all right, I'm going to be a millionaire by 25 and a billionaire by 30. And by 30, I wasn't even a millionaire. I wasn't even 100,000-aire. And I was like, something's wrong. And I just kept letting my mind go into that. And I curled up like a little child in the backseat of a car and just spazzed out. Yeah. It's just
because it was all bullshit.
But yeah, exactly. But I needed that though, man.
I
needed those breaks because it revealed.
It doesn't break until it breaks.
Yeah,
it doesn't break until it breaks. That's what I mean. So then the question is nothing causes. You just have to just wait and whatever happens. Yeah. Because you can't kind of force that, can you?
No, but so trauma is really never forced by you. You know? Yeah, because you never know when it's going to happen. Because it could be a breakup, it could be a loss of a job.
It could trauma, be, yes, like an event, right? But even that question is like, what causes these events? Let's not go there.
Okay.
So rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So, what causes even that?
Yeah. There's a million things, but yeah, like you said, it's a rabbit hole. We could talk about what causes it forever. But the thing is, you're right. I guess we can't exactly put our finger on what causes the mental shift.
Yeah.
However, I do think that we can manipulate it and push it further.
Yeah, but even that decision is going to be somehow inspired by something,
You're right. Right.
So that's me. Like if somebody's listening, maybe that's the thing that you need to hear right now. Yeah. It's sort of like a boom universe kind of telling you like, hey, remember that thing that you were saying to do? Mm-hmm. Like here, everybody's talking about it right now. So like reminder.
Yeah.
And then maybe some people are going to remember that like, holy, I forgot I took this life in the wrong way, and then let me just go where the things that I enjoy doing.
What I just thought about it was I think that's why those 5 closest friends makes such a difference, because if your milieu or the closest people that you hang around all exhibit certain qualities that you would admire, or you exhibit different qualities that they admire, kind of like a lot of my friends or a lot of the ones that I hang out with often are all in like magnificent shape, like you, right? And with me,
stop.
but with me, about especially 6 months ago, man, I was the worst. I was in the worst shape of all of them. Oh, wow. So I always thought about it, and it wasn't.
And
anything.
It was a peer pressure.
Well, they didn't.
Maybe you like.
Never talked about it.
That's the thing. Maybe you like being fat. So
no, no, not
maybe
at all.
Just ruined who you.
But the thing is, they never mentioned it. They never acted any different or made me notice it or anything.
They probably talked behind your back. Like, so you know what? Do you notice, guys, that we have a fat guy in the group?
Come on, no. But it made me change though. It made me change over time, and then because friends bring new ideas to you. That's another thing. So trauma, and then new ideas that obliterate and totally crash into ideas that you currently had.
Right.
It's kind of like
but that usually causes anger.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
But sometimes it
there's
goes
a friction. There's some sort of friction is there. Oh, or inspiration. Yeah. It's either just goes through and connects to you, or like really challenges you.
Yeah.
And the reason you like really get pissed off about it is because that's exactly what we need to be look at.
Yeah. No, friction has to be there. I think friction is necessary for every single thing in life.
I think I hacked life.
Talk to me.
I think there's only one thing that you can do when everything starts, and that's like a conscious decision. I think everything else is just like a dominoes.
Okay.
And that is, are you going towards your fear, or are you moving away?
Yeah.
And if you're moving away, that's going to feel like you're climbing the mountain. It's like so hard, difficult. And this the moment you're going to be on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And just going to go, you know what? I'm going to move towards fear. And then you have the maximum moment of fear, right? But what happens after the fear? You see, what happens after the fear? And then sure enough, it's just like poof, jumping out of the airplane is bliss.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa. I was climbing the mountain when I have wings and stuff, like, shit like that.
Well, I tell you this, going towards fear or going away from fear. No, I feel you completely on that. And the thing is that
that's faith, man.
But you know what?
Fear and faith is all the same thing.
It's 100%.
Oh my God. 100%. We hacked religion, man.
Wait a minute. You said fear and faith is the exact same thing?
Yes, because if you,
like I said, different polarities or different directions.
No, it's the same thing. If I'm moving towards fear, that means I'm going to find bliss, and that's my faith. Somebody
dropped the mic, huh?
I dropped the pipe this time. What?
I'd have to think about that one some more.
There's nothing to talk about, man. Let's smoke a pipe. We're done here. We hacked this shit.
Man. There's so many ways that could go, man. It's so many
Nowhere?
Ways. Yes, it is.
And I can fountain into anything based on what we...
But I honestly think that oftentimes we think about fear as this singular object.
Yeah.
And that, guess what? I'm not going to, or I'm going to walk away from that fear like you were talking about, or walk towards it. But fear, just like you were talking about flowering into things, it flowers into multiple things. So if you fear change, then everything, whether it's change or not, your perspective of it might create some sort of change just so you could be afraid of it and go away from it. And I guess fear isn't an object; it's a state of mind, I think.
Yes, but then I think that's the life challenge. Is that thing that is that mysterious door. It's like that black veil that you don't want to open, but every time you do it, there's bliss. It's like I can't think of one example where you are facing your fear does not lead to bliss. It's just I cannot think of one example.
Well, give me
an example.
All right, so back when I was a young child, like less than 12, because I became a full-grown man at 12. So I was under 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
you dropped early.
I didn't even know that term back then, but no, I don't think it was. It could have been. You could say that, But man, I was so afraid of the dark, man. I'm talking about afraid. I was so afraid of the dark. My little brother, that's 5 years younger than me, you would hold my hand and walk me up the stairs into the dark room. Wow. Yeah, it was that bad. So once And then there was times it's like, man, I can't have my little brother, my kid brother, walk me up the stairs.
It's getting embarrassing.
Yeah. But the thing is that I would go up the stairs by myself, facing the fear, and then I would lay down.
Yeah.
And I'd still like tense up and make sure I don't move so the boogeyman doesn't get me. And there was no bliss on the side of that. It was just
but you didn't face it.
I did because I walked up the stairs.
No, you did not face. No. You went through. You did not face it. You were still afraid at the very end.
Wait a minute. So what's your definition of facing the fear then?
There, let me tell you. Okay? You're going there where you think the boogie is.
Yeah.
And you stay there with the boogie until not afraid anymore. That's facing the boogie.
Or you fall asleep.
Until you speak with the boogie and your best buds and you go to sleep together and all that stuff. You know.
Okay.
That's facing the boogie.
Okay.
And it's bliss after that because you can have a friend. The boogie is your, playmate now.
I got you. Well, the thing is, I would just fall asleep, so I never really faced the boogie until when was it that I got over?
What did you say? You never really faced the boogie?
Well, no, not at those periods of time. I'm trying to figure out because I'm not afraid of the dark now.
Okay, good.
But the thing is once again, like. Fear, I don't think it's an object. I think it's a state of mind, my friend. Because
no, but it's like where that state of mind came from. So what I'm saying is like, what if we look at it as it's the sign where to go? What if you just like it just pops into your mind and it's like, oh, suddenly I'm afraid of this, suddenly I'm afraid of that. It's your compass. It's telling you where is your curiosity is, where to go into the forest, where you're curious about it, and you can still go. And it's exciting, and you can die. But if you don't go, there's no life. You can explore
think about this. Are you afraid of anything?
At this point, probably it's like to the point where probably not.
Exactly. Yeah. Because your state of mind is all faith.
So every opportunity. That's why to me, fear does not like the feeling that when I used to feel fear, it's just directly into the excitement, and that's how I know what to do because it's what excited me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then before I had that block, and then it's like the things that I want to do, it came out of as fear and anxiety, and it's sort of like that. That's the signal,
Yeah.
And after facing the fear, then all these open up, and then it flows.
Let me ask you this:
it's directly does that make sense to you? Because it's the same energy coming to you. Yeah. It's dragging you. It's dragging your soul towards where your path is.
Yeah.
That's the stream that's coming to you.
Yeah.
And and then we could just accept it, face it, because or we can just transmute it into like the fear or excitement. Like it's up to us to do it. Yeah. And that's like was that shift. We can have like a valve. Into the excitement, into fear.
Great. Because I got this question. Keep that thought.
Because what do you do when the things that you want to pursue, it scares the crap out of you?
You go for it, man.
But it scares, it's scary.
I see what you're saying. This is what I was going to ask, though.
Shouldn't you first face the deepest fear of all?
But how do you even know you have a fear? There's a lot of people that don't even know that they are operating.
Yeah, they don't.
In fear.
It's obvious from the side.
Yeah,
you can see from the side.
So like, if I'm telling you, hey, Kestutis, that's fear. I don't know why you haven't been able to see that, but you've got to overcome that fear. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
I never thought about that.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That before.
People don't know.
How does one recognize?
I tell you
that
what,
they're operating in fear, or that they're afraid of something.
Very simply, if you sit in one place and you can't be at joy with yourself, you got anxiety. You got anxiety, my friend.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. Because if you sit here and your mind is running 1,000 miles an hour and just keep telling you like you suck, you're a victim, or whatever is running, you can't.
Now, do you think fear operates in waves where there's moments in time when that anxiety persists, and then there's moments of time where it absolutely evaporates? And then it comes back, or leaves and comes back, or is it just a constant up or a constant down?
If you truly face all the fears, it's the same to you. It's all bliss.
Okay.
It's balanced so well that it's like bliss to you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's no praising.
No, I agree wholeheartedly, because that's once again
no blaming.
Back to the state of mind, because I believe that the state of mind is. If we are operating out of faith, every single opportunity or what's the word? Crisis. Right. Looks like an opportunity to us. And then if I'm operating in a state of fear, every opportunity looks like a crisis.
Yeah.
So,
like everything, it falls down into place whenever you're thinking of life as a video game and you just take it as serious as a video game, man. And suddenly things just starts working out. Because you don't take it serious anymore.
Do you believe a pessimist knows they're a pessimist?
But you do the thing that you would do in the game, and that's your life, man. It's the playing is the point.
Yeah, I tell you, I honestly think that we're supposed to have as much fun as possible.
This is the
and invite point. As many people as possible to enjoy fun with us.
Absolutely. Too. Yeah.
Oh, but let me ask you: do you think that a pessimist knows they're a pessimist?
I think it's like a conundrum of some sort because a pessimist. Is in itself cannot be the what I'm saying?
No, well that's why I asked the question because a lot of people don't even know that they're operating in fear. It's kind of because most pessimists that I talk to, when I say, "Oh man, why in the world are you thinking like that?" "Oh no, I'm just a realist," or because in the past it's always happened like
trap.
this.
It's the trap. It's the irration. It's the.
But they don't even know that.
No. They don't know there's a trap. They don't know that a bird that they are the caged bird.
Yes.
They don't know.
Yes.
Because cage is big enough for them. Does that make sense?
I've never seen that visual. Yeah. That I agree wholeheartedly. The cage is big enough to provide the illusion that they have all the room in the world to fly, but they're still encaged.
Yeah, they're still encaged. Yeah, so they don't know what life is.
So, but what I'm trying to do is, how do you reveal to them? Boom, brother, you're in a cage. Sister, you're in a cage.
Oh my God! If you tell them, they're gonna shout at you. They're
of course,
gonna be,
Of course.
They're gonna I got in a fight with one guy, but actually, like
you said, you got in a fight with one guy.
Almost, like in a verbal fight.
Oh, I was about to say a physical fist fight.
No,
come on, man.
No.
I don't know anybody would do that with.
No.
Judo king over here.
I don't do that. But like it was like really heated, know. And actually, I'm gonna have him on my show, and he's a cartoon artist. He's creating Bitcoin cartoon.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. But like when we met, it was like this interaction, but we were like facing it, and so when I saw him and we talked about it, and he was like I could see him in a very victim mentality and like very initial. It's like no, this is how it works and all that. And that energy was like, and everybody felt it, now I felt it, but I wanted to poke at it, because this is right there. Right?
I understand. Yeah.
And but I didn't want it. It just came out to me like that, I just came and I said, man, you're suffering. And then obviously it really hit the button, and he got mad at me, and then I got mad at him, and it's just like blah blah blah. But then it's gonna calm down. And I was like, all right, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. And then we had some deep conversations about what the hell happened. I was projecting my stuff that I used to have because it was me like getting mad at myself when I was there.
Yeah.
Because obviously I know how messed up that was, and it's so personal too, but you can beat around the bush or can just go straight in there and say, okay, that's the place that we either connect as human beings or not, and you're facing the fear. We had that two males met, and then just like hit the freaking horns and just like everything's fine.
I love it, and that's how things should be, my brother. It's the beautiful thing is that if you didn't go there, you wouldn't have been able to elevate to the new relationship that you all have now. And I remember moving from Jasper, Alabama to Huntsville, Alabama in the first grade. First thing I do, there's some kid that's picking on me. We get in a fight. From there on out, throughout the rest of my elementary school, that was my best friend, my main best friend, because we duked it out, when we first met. But like we handled any.
That's usually how it is.
Yeah, but like
the best enemies, but like the enemies and the first is usually assigned to be a friend, like almost every moment, every movie, right?
Wholeheartedly, and I love sometimes even fabricating altercations.
That's what they meant by saying love your enemies, because they are your friends. That's it. Over and out, guys. That's it.
But yeah, man, it's so beautiful, man, because when you have those extremely real, visceral moments of confrontation.
Yeah.
You take off the mask.
Yeah, exactly.
And you actually meet each other in real life.
That's what the animals do. They don't want to kill each other. Mm-hmm. They just want to see like, hey, who are you? You know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's who you are. I feel you.
But you know what? I think a lot of times people have these masks and people are afraid to confront and show their real selves because they don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
Because I'm not
afraid to have like perhaps like the status, you know, they're afraid of like, oh, is my status going to be lower or higher in the group? And is that, you know, status anxiety, you know?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
But the point is that when you realize that there is no freaking higher or lower, there's no thing. It's just all one the same. Then you can just relax.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Just keep it real.
Yeah.
Keep it real, man. It's just, when you know yourself, it's easy. Like, that's why they say real recognize real.
Yeah.
Or game recognizes game.
Yes, exactly.
Because I think that's why we gel so well. Because
we're real, man.
Yeah, there's no pretentiousness in any of it. It's just, hey, man, you do what you do. I do what I do. Yeah. This is what I'm thinking. Yeah. Oh, this is what I think about what you think. Yeah. Oh, that's what I think. You know, it's...
There's no animosity.
Exactly. It's like, because we're okay with ourselves. We love ourselves. We know ourselves.
Yeah.
Of course, we're still learning.
Real knows more and more.
Man. All day. Real recognize real. Do you even listen to rap music?
Yeah, dude, like I grew up on rap music.
Okay, good.
I used to be a gangster, man. And I didn't even know that I am, you know? Like I was like 15, 16 years old gangster, you know.
Oh, is that?
Much. Yeah.
Like
so I didn't go
gun-toting?
Like knives and stuff.
Oh, okay, got it.
But no, very little guns at that.
Okay, I got you. Brother.
I
got into a little...
I didn't know that, like I thought, look, like I tell you how it was, you know? You know, we're always like hang around and like we're always like fight with each other, but like we're still kind of same, you know, group of people, you know. Mm-hmm. This is like our district. And by the way, everybody was territorial there, you know. Yeah. If you go to the wrong district, they say, hey, where are you from? You know, and then if you tell the wrong number, you get beat up.
Get out of here.
Yes.
And this is in Lithuania?
Yeah, that's how it was, man. I didn't know how that was. And then so you can't. She knows, man. She knows.
Did you ever get beat up? Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. No, but like some women sometimes like they do still have the code and say like, you know, you don't mess with the guys who have, you know, with the woman with them. So like you don't scoop that low. Yeah. You know, but some don't care about that code either.
Yeah.
You know, but then those who don't care about that code are gonna be beaten up by the ones who do care about that code.
Correct.
You know, so it's like a self-checking situation.
Well, you know, it's, man, once again, going back to the whole relationships thing,
it's all like tribes, man. That's how it was, man.
Everything. But like, man, growing up, I was not an outcast, but I had these big glasses. I was one of the smartest kids in the room.
Is that what you're saying?
Huh?
You were dark?
Yeah, that's what they would say. Yeah. And I had buddies on.
Dude, I'm totally dark too, you know.
Is that right?
Yeah. I didn't have like a bottom, you know, like glass bottom.
Coke bottle glasses
Coke
or
bottom, you know. I didn't have that. But it was like super geeky, like computer games and like, you know, science and according to my calculations, you know, all sorts of things.
But yeah, but the crazy thing is, man, when I quit caring about absolutely anybody's acceptance or acknowledgement or whatnot, then, man, I just had all the fun in the world. And what I started doing was reaching out and hanging with the unpopular kids. And what most people don't understand.
You try to aspire to that?
No.
I mean like you try to aspire to hang with popular kids.
No, unpopular kids.
Oh, you try.
No, I totally went. I totally disregarded all the popular kids and said, forget you all. Let's focus on the unpopular kids. The kid that sat at the table by themselves, or the kid that was.
Because you thought you're gonna find your friends there.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, they need love too, and I know what it feels like on that table. And I kind of felt like I wasn't even at the table.
This is the unpopular. Found your tribe, man. You found your tribe.
But the crazy thing is that there's more unpopular kids than there are popular kids. So I became the most popular kid in the school because I was the king of the unpopular kids. To the point that now all the popular kids wanted to hang with me because everybody in the school knows me. So it's crazy how a lot of times just the way that we think about things and our view ourselves changes our entire.
Like, can you believe it? I was not popular.
Like throughout all of like K through 12?
No. I was sexy, but not popular.
I tell you. Okay.
No, true, man.
Is that
like something happened to my face when I was like 15, and it's like all chicks dug me for that moment. Yeah. For that
I tell you
for
this.
a little bit, and then I got 18, and it stopped digging me again. You know.
Yeah.
But I had that moment where it's just like.
Well, how were you not popular then?
For those last with the ladies, years. But they were like, because they were popular ladies, they don't want to show that they hanging with somebody who's not popular. But like on the down low,
I see.
It goes, man.
You know the crazy thing is, man, I was talking to some cats in high school.
Yeah.
And apparently there's this hierarchy now of, if I want you to be my girlfriend or my boyfriend, you've got to be the same social status online as me. So like if I've got
how many followers do you have?
If I got 100
followers?
Instagram followers, then even if you're the best looking person or the coolest person, it means nothing. There's no way you could get with this girl that's got 10,000 or more followers.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, are you kidding me?
It's like social credit right now, you know.
Yeah,
it's like
social
how
credit.
Awesome you are.
Exactly.
Like what is your status in the group?
It's wild, man.
It's wild. And then people chase that status, and they have that freaking double status anxiety. They are worrying what is the status in the subway. They're worrying what's the status in the freaking phone.
Yeah.
Like it's still anxiety whichever way you go.
Crazy thing is it translates because
how stupid is that, man?
It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's because it's no different than when I was younger too, or in high school, which is also when I was younger. But but the thing is, back then, whoever had Jordans, that status symbol made you cool or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just crazy how all that stuff persists. But
that's
transmutates.
I was poor, you know. Like I was poor,
too.
but like my parents were poor. Yeah. So like,
wait a minute. Why did you want to make that distinction just now?
What do you mean?
That you weren't poor, but your parents were poor.
Oh.
If you were a family unit, all of y'all were poor.
That was not me.
You're saying so mentally you weren't poor?
No, I was not. Like
it was just you were. It was the circumstance of your parents.
How do you know? Like I didn't get the chance freaking out life. They give me a chance, okay? You know. So, but you don't know if I'm gonna be poor, right? But I was never poor, like in my mind, like you say. You know what I mean? I never saw myself like as poor.
Got it.
Even with like all the social pressure, and it's like look at you, I'm poor. You know, like all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It just never bothered me.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to like steal freaking buns from the cafeteria. To just, have a bun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I would have never thought that with you, man. Be honest with you, I thought you came from money. I thought you like that.
Oh, man.
They taught you how to make money and do well and be awesome and all that type of stuff.
No.
Yeah. So what?
I came from the bottom up, and now we're here.
What caused the transition, or what allowed you to turn everything around?
Oh, like it was turning the whole time. Okay. Gradually.
Got it.
You know.
Yeah.
And like I would do like a lot of almost like impulsive ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things were kind of great in Lithuania. You know, I had a job when I was like 18.
Yeah.
I'm studying. Good grades. Turns out that I'm smart, but I only found out after school. Man, why didn't you tell me at school? Yeah. They told me that I'm a freaking idiot. And then I go to the university and I'm freaking like a student.
Yeah.
Like what the hell? I was being lied to, you know. So obviously that gave me all the confidence boost, you know, and I went for it. But everything was going great. I was getting paid to study. I had a job that I'm not supposed to have a job.
Yeah.
You know, I have a job that my graduation would result in, and I already had that.
Yeah.
So and then at one point I thought, okay, this is boring.
Yeah.
Like this is a lot of things that are happening in Lithuania was like a lot of corruption, you know, and I kept on facing that, and I'm like, man, it's not my style, man. It's not my style. Because I'm poor, so I can't go the easy way, right?
Yeah.
Because if I have money, you just like go there, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't like it because I was poor, and I thought like maybe I can go somewhere where they value like the value, not the other thing, and. So yeah, and obviously I wanted to go to California, you know, the whole time. But it's not like I wanted to go to California. It was like more like inevitable. A lot of people wanted to go to the United States.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go to the United States. I was already there.
Yeah.
It was not something like, oh, let's see what you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like very, very. I don't know why, but like some people have the same like life as me. For example, like Alan Watts. You know Alan Watts?
No.
So what this philosopher guy?
Wait a minute, Alan Watts?
Yeah.
Of course I know Alan Watts. I listen to a ton of his stuff. Yeah.
Check this out.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Go ahead.
All right. Oh man. All right. Man, now I forgot.
Darn it. I'm sorry,
no,
man. Alan Watts.
Alan Watts. Yeah. Check this out. Judo. He was in judo. I'm judo. UK. I lived in UK for 10 years. You know, I have a bit of like a bit of. Nobody says a bit of in the United States of Americas. Right? So I have still remnant from the British.
Yeah.
You know, the British are coming. You know, so I still have that remnant. And he's British. He lived in California. I live in California.
Wow.
And then like it's like what?
All the different parallels.
Like I went through what like he went like it's just a lot of things that are overlapping.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's why you come across these people because strangely they overlap your life.
And now you're a philosopher about the Bitcoin community and so on and so forth. Just like he was a philosopher.
Maybe I'm picking up where he left off.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he was a character. He was his thoughts. Of course, like I don't agree with 100% with anybody, but I liked a lot.
How can I not agree with that?
You know what?
Man?
How about what was this guy? Carl Jung. Have you heard of him?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, man, I love a lot of his stuff too.
Carl Jung opened the door there because in the Western world it was like a one way and there's no other way, right? You know, and so they could not think about life the other way because everything comes from a materialistic point. Because they look at the world as the part of it, and that's it. But they don't see the world as themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, and you cannot do it because if you're a super stuck, scientific minded in like super logical thinking, there's no door for you in the other world. You're not going to understand that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I never thought about that. No doors to you into other worlds.
Yeah. And that's why, of course, majority of these scientists are like that. So that's why it's so slow to push the envelope. It's like, and some minds come and and explain it. It takes years for them to convince. Like even Einstein, man. He wrote it like that when he was really young.
Yeah.
But it took him like 20 years to convince those folks that this is for real.
That was another.
Yeah.
You're right. Creativity allows you to traverse realms, realities,
but
planes that other people can't.
All right.
Or that have a more scientific mind.
Yeah. So let's say you come up with something super creative, right? And you know exactly that's what the world's supposed to do. So go. Now, are you a doer as well? You know, like Einstein, because he went there and he spoke and he spoke and he was promoting his own shit for years, until they started listening to him, and it was like one by one. He just captured one important person, then another one, and they were shattered their paradigms. So then it's like, and all these paradigms started shattering, and then woof, the new epoch in science is born.
Yeah.
And now we're having the other one is trying to pushing the way. But it's super hard for that new epoch to be born. And it's to do of looking at the consciousness from the consciousness point of view and from the scientific, side from point of view. Because right now, they say if it's experiential, it's not real. Even though like me and you can experience exactly the same thing, it's not real. That's why I think if scientists could like take DMT, and I think they would make him a genius.
Okay.
Because he sees both sides.
Got it.
And
you think DMT is the only way for them to explore the other side that they are?
No, it's not the only way.
It's just the quickest way.
It's the quickest way.
Okay.
But there's philosophies. There's a hard way and there's an easy way. And wise person picks the easy one. And just no need to. You can control the difficulty of your life yourself. It's just as simple as that. If you're whining, that means that like, hey, you are not controlling the difficulty of your life. Like you can easily make your life easier. And just think it was like, okay, I'm kind of struggling right now. Okay, how can I dial it down, the difficulty of my life? How can I just, maybe I don't have to do this, maybe I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's something I don't even want to do. Maybe someone else can do it. And just like slowly cut this thing that is weighing you down.
Yeah.
And then eventually you come to what is comfortable to you.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had so many responsibilities and that was weighing me down.
Mm-hmm.
I got to cut this business, just like that. Obviously you don't want to cut it because like, oh, you're invested and all that stuff, right? But it's the moment you just like let it go, and there's no need to worry about here. And then you can think about it. It's like, why does come to my attention right now? Where is this? Where do I have a contract with somebody that still affects me?
Yeah.
And then you clip that contract. Clip. And there's no more contract, then you can sign your own contract, whatever you want to do.
Correct. Correct.
And go that way.
Yeah. Or
you can sign your contracts, man.
Or you can just live without contracts and just live.
Yeah. But then also, like, you can't do that because how can you, like what Alan Watts would say, he says, like, how can you, if you want to stop the desire, you're desiring not the desire. So you have to play the game. You have to pick the contract.
Yeah.
Pick whichever game you're going to play. See, I picked the podcast host. I like this one. Then mentor. I really like that one too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm playing right now. That's my character.
Got it. Got it.
And I before I was like playing CEO, but I was done with it. Like that character was gone. I tried to kind of keep that character going, but obviously that character was gone. And until I obviously realized, okay, that's it. I'm of course everything to do with CEO is kind of makes me vomit, So no, seriously.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like no more CEO, man. And I went where else is there. And and somebody would say like, why would you step down from being CEO, man? What is wrong with you, right?
Yeah.
But I will create so much more value where my heart is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
I'm
agree.
stepping down CEO. I'm actually looking for CEOs to hire right now.
Got it. Got it.
For the supplement company and the drink company.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Well, I agree hard. There's this concept of if you want to go into business to be a cook, then be a cook and hire a CEO. Because if you become a CEO, you'll never get to cook, and you'll never explore, do your
Absolutely.
passion. So
you missed the point.
Yeah, exactly.
You and then sometimes people get stuck in it, and they think that's what they're doing. No, it's the cooking that you want to do.
Exactly.
You don't want to do all the rest of the stuff.
No. So hire somebody to do the rest of the stuff, and you do what you want to do.
Absolutely.
So, and yours was vice versa. You wanted to. Well, no, the same thing.
Absolutely.
You didn't want to. You want to hire a CEO instead of.
Yeah, you want to have a that's what you want. You want to be the owner and the worker inside of it because that's what you love to do.
Correct.
And obviously that other piece is supposed to be filled by CEO.
Yeah, man, I love working with people. I love interacting with people. And I'm an extremist in every sense of the word almost. And the people I like to work with the most are like executives or kids. And I like to inspire them. Everybody in between are cool. Which one?
I'm child and executive.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm an executive child.
Because it's just, man, the thing is like kids, they just do.
Yeah.
And executives, they just do.
Yeah. Exactly.
And a lot of times the people in between, they pontificate
and together
and they come up with.
They just do.
And I tell you, I know a kid would love that little joke, but I do too. But man, a lot of times the cats in between, you have to convince them to do what's best for them.
Yeah.
And I'm not into
like you can't convince anybody like that.
No, you can't.
No.
And I realize that's.
So you have to let go because that's also suffering if you can't let that go.
Correct.
Because that's what I was doing,
Yeah,
me too. When I went towards like more the light, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I went towards that way,
mm-hmm.
and then I was like, oh wow, why? Hey, come with me,
mm-hmm.
Hey, come with me, and not everybody is like okay, go there, So and like you said, like how can they like they're in caged and you want to kind of release them from the cage, right? Because
mm-hmm.
you're both human being, right?
Yeah.
But that desire to do that, it causes the suffering because.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Because they won't follow you out.
Because this is just no way out over there. You don't got the keys. They got the keys.
Yeah.
They can let themselves out.
Exactly.
The only thing you do, you can just shout at them, and tell them once. And if that, because sometimes you can tell somebody and it seems like it didn't work,
Yeah.
5 years later, that just comes back.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Of course.
It was recorded there, but it was not looked at.
Exactly. Yeah. You planted a seed.
You planted a seed, man.
Yep.
And that's why if you just communicate that once with person, that's all you can do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't want to wreck a relationship.
Yeah. Like, if you don't want to play that game, because, some people like to play drama game.
And I don't do
you know
drama.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't do drama at all.
No, I don't do drama either, man.
Yeah, it's not. It's a waste of time, energy.
So much time. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's
that's the drug, man. That's how they get that hit.
Yeah, yeah. Because I don't know. Drama is just not my thing, man. But I love the idea of. I love the idea of some of the points we've been talking about. Just how. The behavioral change along with the belief.
Yeah.
And then also opening your own shackles and getting out of your own cage once you recognize it, and making sure that you either surround yourself with the right people or surround yourself with the right ideas, like listening to different podcasts.
Yeah.
In order to help turn a light on so that a seed that was planted years ago gets
what
to
would
come
happen
out.
if you lived life without planning anything and without thinking? Everything that you said just and just what would happen? You don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: it would be the best of times and the worst of times.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think so.
I don't think so.
First of all, I was talking to the tiger about this. My wife, I call her the tiger. But I was telling her that she was doing a lot of self editing. I'll tell you that off camera. Right. But Tiger Lily, she's sweet and she's strong.
Lily Tiger. Oh wow, that's like
Tiger
both.
Lily. Tiger Lily.
Yeah. But I know. I'm just saying that
little tiger.
Think about the animal and the plant. It's like a cute and
exactly. The right amount of each.
That's the way I like it too.
But man, it's about she was doing a lot of self editing, and I was letting her know, especially with me, you don't have to self edit yourself.
Yeah.
As it comes in your mind, just spit it out.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be offended, or I'm not gonna think that. Oh, wait a minute, you're a crazy person for just be yourself 100%. And I think. And a lot of times I don't self-edit. And when I don't self-edit, meaning I don't plan or I don't think, stuff just comes out. I put my foot in my mouth. One time it was at a church. I was at a church and I asked this lady, I said, I was meeting her. We were in a line to get some sort of food at a special event. And I said, so what do you like? What's your name? What do you do? And she's like, oh, well, I don't do a lot. I was like, wait a minute. Are you do you like dancing or something? And I was like, oh, I'm not trying to call you a stripper, but if that's what you do,
nothing wrong with that.
But not at all. I said, if that's what you want to do, it's cool. And she's like, you think I'm a stripper? I was like, no, I wasn't trying to say that. But anyway, so I stumbled over myself. But from there on out, we had the best relationship in the world because I didn't self-edit, but my intentions were right. We just met each other. We took off those masks because she got offended that I thought that she was a stripper at church, and it just opened up and it blossomed to a beautiful friendship.
There you go. It's what spoke, man.
But that's what I mean. So that was the best of times. But then some people stay closed off, and they would have stayed offended at me, and they would have. I don't know.
But then what if you don't care? What if it's like, all right?
Yeah.
But what if you let it be? And let me tell you something. When you open that door and when you're just trying to be yourself, we get Tourette's first because we have all this thing that we want to let out. Fuck. That's what happens. It just comes out at the beginning. Like if you let yourself go, right? But that doesn't mean that it's gonna keep going. So you can like you say, like snapping. Snap. And then you're like, oh, I let it out. Okay, I don't want to snap anymore. That's, okay, good. What else is there? I'll just, just let everything out. So you let that energy through you.
Yeah.
And it's not stuck. And because now it's like, you're like, if you are stuck, then you're like trying to hold this big rock against this, hole of geyser, and it's about to escape anyway.
Well, you can always have different outlets. The outlet doesn't have to be in front of the person that you.
How much energy do you use then? You know what I mean? And wastefully, there's suffering right there.
Well, listen to me.
So it's just swear at people once in a while, but then obviously apologize for the way you said it.
Yeah. But the transference of all energy, there's always
doctor's
waste.
orders. They're not exactly doctors, very close. Almost doctor's orders for you.
Yeah, but there's energy always dissipates when it's transferred. That's why a machine might heat up when power goes through it or something like that. So you're always going to lose some of that energy, but as long as it's directed properly, then I think it's beneficial. Because, let me ask you this. What do you think? If you went through life with no plans, no editing, no any of that stuff, how do you think things would be?
That's what's happening right now, man. Like, I don't know what tomorrow is going to be. And some of these people get frustrated. Like, how can you not plan?
But you are editing, because I'm pretty sure there were times that you wanted to, a thought came to your mind and you wanted to interrupt me and be like, man. Oh, no, Big Al, but think about this. But you held it.
You don't know what's happening, man. Like, I don't hold it. Like, I just yelled at my friend, the judo friend.
Yeah.
And I just yelled at him for good 20 minutes, and the whole shebang,
Yeah.
And it was all because he brought the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And the girlfriend did not want to be here, but she's like, because he's not man enough to do what it needs to be done, and say, okay, this is my time. I'm hanging out with the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, you hang with me the whole week. Yeah. This is my time. Let me hang with the boys. You go home. So no, she would rather stay and be unhappy than just go, right? Yeah. So that's a tantrum. And him as a man needs to understand, okay, this is not the genuine emotion, that's a tantrum.
Yeah.
And don't bend over for it. But he just walking around with the tail down, this little and he's a black belt, he's a judo black belt,
Yeah.
And then I told him, it's like, what's happening to you, man?
Yeah.
It's like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
But I realized that perhaps again I'm talking to my older version of myself.
Yeah.
And that all that energy, all that anger just came out of me. And of course I apologize for overreacting, but hey, whatever I said, I meant it.
Yeah.
It's just the way it came out with a lot of force.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you don't filter. That's not really a bad thing, because it didn't go anywhere. It just whoosh, released.
But that's because it wasn't physical.
Yeah. It would never get physical.
I tell you, I know a lot of people, if they didn't self-edit, they would punch a wall.
But that's not.
But if I punched every wall that I got mad at,
there was no idea of
Well, no, of course that was you and your friend. That was you and your friend.
But we both knew that it's never gonna happen.
Of course,
do you know what I mean?
I
there's
know,
something
but
there.
Let's just say that I didn't filter, and I got extremely upset, and I would never hit another person unless they hit me first. And I punched a wall, I break my hand. Then that's not great.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah. Well,
but I'm living life without filters. There has to be a balance.
But what you did was wrong. You punched the wall, man.
How is that wrong? You just said live without filters.
Yes, but
live without editing. Live without.
Yeah, but okay, maybe that's not wrong. Maybe you need to punch the wall a few times, realize that's stupid.
Or I just need to put a punching bag up in the room.
I take it back. That was a lesson for you. So I want you to have that lesson. Not regretting at all. It was necessary for you to punch the wall.
Yeah.
I never punched the wall, man, because
I never did
either punch face or don't raise the hand.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way it was.
No, I never react with a physical thing, but I tell you this though, lately, whenever stress arises or whatnot, I will throw those weights up in the air a few more times or lift harder, a heavier weight.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, let out the aggression.
Yeah.
In a positive manner.
I'm glad you touched that topic. Expressing masculinity.
Yeah.
If you're a man, if you don't have a masculinity outlet, because in the human nature, I go to judo, sometimes let it out, that fighting, right? But you do it in a safe environment, very respected environment, because the reason, in judo, everybody bows before and after. The first, you bow out of respect, and then a second after the fight, you bow for thanking for the lessons, because you got something out of your opponent, so that's a competition, but it's also co-opetition. It's like cooperation and competition in one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's no fear, there's no anxiety. You just go there and you compete.
Yeah.
And you let that side of you, who's really a territorial or animal part of you, out. So then you don't have any status anxiety with anybody else.
Yeah.
Because you were that animal over there, right? Like you play that game and it's like, oh, today I'm the freaking big dog in the dojo. You know what I mean? It's like you play that game there, so you don't need to play anybody else.
Yeah.
So you don't play like in a pub or in a club.
But once again, you have the proper outlet for it.
You need to have
so the thing is, the thing about living without filters is beautiful, so long as you understand
how life
that
works.
you have environments that are more conducive for certain outbursts, and some aren't.
Yeah, but I think all outbursts is the real deal.
No, of course it's a real deal, but it might not.
And
you still have to use discretion, though.
Man, I think you're just
precipitating
around it, you know, and the emphasis on the pussy.
Oh no! You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Let me tell you something, man. So the crazy thing is that in every circle that I'm in, I'm talking about every friend circle that I'm in, I'm usually the most masculine, and I'm taunted as being over masculine and too,
I know,
A type, alpha type, so on and so forth. And I am the first. That's why I had that small, slight grin on my face when you were talking to me about your friend, because man, oh man, I talk to a lot of gentlemen about making sure that they hold the right position.
There's only one question. Would you rather rip the Band-Aid off quickly or slowly? Because that's the only reason they're doing it.
Quickly.
Because if you face your bully quickly, you know, it can be a lot of sparks, a lot of fighting.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's what happened to me. You know, somebody's like high status, like try to bully him around and I punch him square in the face. Like, I don't care, you know, because he was stepping on my toes, you know, and was kind of provoking. It's like, what the fuck? And I punched him in the face.
Yeah.
I didn't care. So then, you know, what happened after? When we're playing basketball, he comes over and shakes my hand. Respect kind of thing. Okay, you stood up for yourself.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're cool. You know, but that's how you face a bully.
Yeah.
It's like, right. And if you delay, then you start suffering.
Yeah.
You know?
No, listen to me. Once again, kind of like how we started this whole thing off, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I just like the echo. Your view of it is the loudest voice, and I'm a little bit more faint about, because I've been unfiltered so many times, and most of the time it's been the best thing in the world. It's built the greatest relationships. It's provided some of the best opportunities, and
live with no filter, that's what they say.
Yeah, it's the best. But then there have been times where I've, you know, where I would say to myself, Big Al, man, they weren't ready for it. And I may have hurt them. I may have hurt somebody because I was, as they would call it, too crass or too something.
Yeah.
It's kind of like feeding the baby a steak, you know?
What's wrong with that?
They can't chew it.
Oh, yeah.
They won't be able, if they don't have teeth, they can't chew it.
Yeah. I thought, no. I mean, like, you know.
Oh,
the one with the
I'm not trying to tread on you. I know you love steak, man, but
yeah.
no.
Oh, actually, if you want to talk about this subject, oh man, we're gonna have to cut this up and just like deliver it like as a hot cakes. These clips of us talking.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so type 1 diabetes, right? And I'm geneticist, and like I worked in type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. We did the analysis on it, you know. So I know pretty well of what the hell is going on, you know. And what thing that you observe is that you see that it depends on the genotype. Okay. Right. So for example, some are more prevalent to develop type 1 diabetes, you know, than others. Okay. And
is it hereditary or no?
Yes. Okay. Yes. And then we look at a type 1 diabetes as a disease. Okay. Because obviously, of course, because you eating in typical industrial diet and you're dying, it's a disease. So wait a second. Type 1 diabetes, right? Yeah. Billions, millions spent on to treat as a disease that does not exist. Because you know what that is? That is not a genetic anomaly. That's genetic adaptation. And you know what you adapted to? Carnivorous diet. Start eating everything that you would eat 10,000 BC. Like, you know, if you hunt something, eat that once in a while, maybe berries, you know, nuts or something like that. Yeah. Start eating like you lived 10,000 BC. Yeah. See what happens to type 1 diabetes. It does not exist. You're adapted much better in that environment. So right? That type 1 diabetes would outlive anybody else in the forest. It's just a wild type human. That's all it is. It's not disease.
So how long would a person with type 1 diabetes or whatever.
Wild type human. That's how we should name this clip.
Wild type human. I love it because that's what we need to be. That's the unfiltered life. That's the
most of us maybe.
Oh, nah. I'm a wild type human. but what I was asking is, how long does a person need to accept or live that type of lifestyle for it to clear up those, the diabetes?
Yeah,
like, is it a lifestyle of 3 years or 6 months before the stuff starts to subside? Or
look what happens. So if you genetically get type 1 diabetes, which is just actually a adaptation to carnivore diet, and then you force the growing child to eat the traditional food, and start jabbing the insulin, because that's the only way that food is going to be digested. Now the child has no chance developing any kind of production capacity for the insulin. You see?
Yeah.
Because if you let the child eat the things that the child is adapted to, then even those pancreatic cells that seemingly not supposed to be there start growing just enough to accommodate for little fruit once in a while.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it's there for. It's just like delayed, when some people stop tolerating milk.
Yeah.
Gene switched off.
Well, I'm lactose intolerant. So,
but you weren't when you were a child.
No.
Exactly.
At 4.
So that's the same thing here. That if you
I can turn that around.
I'm claiming something kind of, crazy.
Okay, I love crazy
because I'm saying that type 1 diabetes is curable with the carnivore diet.
Okay.
If you are naming it as a disease.
Got it. And do you have a claim for how to heal or clear up lactose intolerance?
And some just turn on that gene. But it's switched off specifically because you adapted to the environment like that. You needed to digest mother's milk, and then you didn't need to digest. You didn't need that energy and waste energy on digesting, right? Because you're a man now. You don't need, you see what I mean? It's adaptation to the world.
Okay.
It's natural. It's not a disease.
Oh, okay. I get what
you're saying. I'm lactose intolerant. No, you're a human being. Wild type.
Yes. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. No, I like that. Because, I don't look at it as a disease.
It's not a disease.
It's probably more of a preference now. That's what the tiger says.
Man, if farting was a disease, think about all the Mexicans.
Or people in general.
Yeah. People in general, not just Mexicans.
No, not at all.
Not the Mexican beans and
you talking about beans?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love a lot of beans.
Yeah.
By the way, so
don't drink milk and beans, man. That doesn't sound good. Oh my God.
So you have adapted.
That's a good cartoon name, Milk and Beans.
You've adopted the carnivorous diet then, huh? Completely. Or no?
This is what happened to me, right? Again, I'm eating now just like I'm living my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling what my body needs.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't have the opinion anymore.
Yeah.
Of I don't eat because to pacify myself.
Yeah.
So then my body may not ask for anything, and then suddenly asks steak. And lately, it's just asking a lot of steak.
Yeah.
Once in a while, a little bit of a rice, but very little carbs. So I'm just living on steak, and I really have cravings for the beef fat too. You know? With the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
So, and I go for that,
Got it.
And people think that I still work out, and I have been hitting gym for
You look
months.
like you work out, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel great, and you know what it gives me? A lot of passion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can believe it.
Because sometimes if I don't eat meat, you become different. It's less action, then you become a little bit like an armchair general, relaxed, and a little bit more wise and don't react to things.
Yeah, I love
everything with the diet, man. Everything's with the diet.
Oh, I agree, because it's what you put in you. It's your fuel. The beautiful thing about that is
don't be a vegetable. That's what you are, what you see. You eat the vegetable, and then you become so cool, man.
What was the term you used? A wild style human or wild
type? That's actually a
wild
thing.
Type.
Wild type. We had rats in the labs.
Uh-huh.
So some of them were wild type.
Yeah.
And obviously the lab rat was bred specifically. It's domesticated.
Yeah.
So the wild type is one lives in the wild.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
That's what I was getting at.
So just like with these rats, they're domesticated rats, and there's a wild type. That's the thing in between, among humans too.
100%.
I'm a wild type for sure.
Oh, me too. 1,000,000,000,000%. And the crazy
I'm
thing
not domesticated, man. You can't cage me.
I was talking to a friend of mine, Vic Ivy, and he said that pigs, cows, dogs, all these things are all domesticated versions of what they once were. Like a cow is a derivative of a bison or a bull.
Yeah.
And the dog is
bison meat.
But that's what I'm saying. It's the wild style or the wild type of cow
meat. It's real life.
Beef. Exactly. And cows are just the domesticated version of it.
Living like freaking natives.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Off the land.
But it makes you stronger. It makes you more alive.
Will bring you everything you need. I don't know why I sounded different.
It's all good. But I love it, man. I love it. And I need to revert more to the whole carnivorous thing. I did that for a minute, but I think I told you about that. But most of the stuff I was eating fried chicken. I was eating fried chicken tenders from Popeyes, and that's the only meat I was eating. Now I slimmed down and got stronger or whatnot, but the oil from it, it killed me, bro.
Man, you know that oil is
like 3 years ago.
Let me tell you something. It's carcinogen. We use the same polyacrylamide in the lab to create the things, but we don't touch it.
Carcinogen and polyacrylamide. What are these words that you use?
The stuff that you were eating in that overboiled oil. It creates the polyacrylamides.
Okay.
And polyacrylamide is cancerous because it interacts with DNA and breaks it down. Okay. So when we were working with polyacrylamide in the lab, we were told do not touch it and do not come near it. So we had like a freaking gloves and everything to handle that thing.
Yeah.
And you were guzzling and freaking.
Yeah, it was.
You see what I mean?
I stopped it.
That's God.
Yeah. But I do guzzle a bit every now and then.
Once in a while, so it's all right. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, a little bit of cancer is okay.
Yeah.
No,
I'm living life unfiltered.
Like, look, when a little bit of cancer, what it means is like you can get cancer. Like a lot of cancer cells may appear in your body already because of all the rays and everything, right? But your body has a good immunity system, so it handles it.
Yeah.
So a little bit of cancer is okay. The body can handle a little bit of cancer cells because you see, like, oh, you don't look the same. Show me your ID. And it's like, no. And of course, like your immunity is just coughing. It's like, you cancer cell, you go to jail.
That police voice is the best.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what happens.
No, man, but no, I love the whole idea of wild types, man. I think that's what we should strive for, just to be the freaking complete version of ourselves and not some sedated, like derivative.
I know. It's like just be who you are, man.
Yeah.
Just don't be afraid to be a wild type.
Man, I'm completely a wild type.
You think we're gonna like separate in like a different groups and gonna be like a wild type humans who just like living still like biology life?
You said it.
And then we're gonna have like cyborgs, the ones that like always live with the phone already. Those are the cyborgs already, man. I'm not a cyborg.
No. Me too. Well, I'm a cyborg at like 30 minutes at a time.
You know what group you belong to, man?
Oh, 100%.
You belong to that wild type humans.
Have you seen Alita?
And there's all gonna be AI who's not biology. So there's gonna be the freaking AI straight up just electrons shooting back and forth, which by the way that's what we are, but anyway. And then we have already AI, and then we have this group of people that are half AI, half biology, and then straight up biology. There's 3 factions, man. There's no way it's not gonna happen, man.
No, have you seen Alita Battle Angel? That's exactly what it is.
Who that?
It's a movie that came out like at the beginning of last year. Alita Battle Angel.
Battle Angel.
Yeah, Battle Angel. Yeah, she's like a cyborg.
Tiger Lily. Battle Angel.
No, that's a movie. That's the name of the movie.
This sounds like a comic characters, man.
And then it's based on manga, which is a cartoon for some sort of. I'm not sure if it's Japanese or Chinese cartoons, but that manga is. But man, it's so beautiful because there was this comment that she made that her dad said about her that she is naturally drawn to confrontation.
The bad boys.
And I said, man, that's me all the way. Because whenever a confrontational situation comes up. Oh, you don't.
It's natural.
No. But I'm naturally drawn to confrontation, man. I love it. I look for it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I know that my intentions are never bad or evil or whatnot, but I love confrontation because it exposes, it causes change, it creates fire. I had a friend that said
exactly.
whether it's that he would prefer wildfire over no fire. Because as long as you got some sort of fire, even if it's wild, at least it can be directed. With no fire, it's just dormant.
Nothing. Nothing happens.
So,
some fire is good fire.
Yeah, of course, man.
That's what you're talking about. The fire desire is the same thing. It's like a little bit of this that should be there.
Oh, not a little bit. If you're full wild type, it's all
but
desire.
I think you're in control of how much though. If you like had too much and you were in the heat for too long, you can just cool it down. You know, you can do that.
Yes, you can.
You know,
but why would you want to cool it down?
Because like you expose way too much. You play this game on too high of a difficulty, so you're suffering now. It's not fun anymore. And you can just like, oh, let me just stop playing this now, okay? And let's go and start off fresh again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like that. It's just like you play a video game and you just get frustrated and it's like, you keep. It's like, no, dude, you're just playing too heavy difficulty, man. Just lower difficulty, lower the challenge, and then you can move on, man. And it's nothing. You don't have to involve your ego in it. You know.
But and
that's what it is. This is like that block with the ego block.
If challenges are necessary in order to progress, okay. If you need challenges in order to progress, why would you want to lower the intensity?
Because look, sometimes people have too much intensity. They get depressed, man. Like the intensity is the last thing that they want to handle right now.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that I think that we live multiple lives throughout a lifetime. You know, I was not the same dude that I was like. I'm not the same dude now. I'm not the same dude now. I'm always changing. You know, so us nominalizing ourselves as some sort of like a characters, sometimes we get trapped in that character. We don't want to play anymore. You know, so it's like you can get trapped into something like a student character that you just don't want to do.
Yeah.
You know, or you can get trapped into, you know, start doing something and you think, okay, now that's my identity. Everybody's calling me, so now I'm this person.
Yeah, but I was just thinking about my little 3-year-old Brooklyn Lily. She is amazing. She is just. Anything that she does, it's with the full brunt of intensity.
Because nobody ruined her yet.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying, like, why do we need to turn down the intensity? When she's happy,
take her to school,
so
man.
Exuberant. And when she's upset, she's flaming and fuming.
Take her to school, and then you'll see a zombie, man. Don't take her to school.
Yeah.
Do not take her to school.
Yeah, man. Agreed.
Like that's the last thing I want to say.
Yeah.
You know, but like there's raise the child in alternative ways now. In like have a tutor or like maybe like a really exceptionally good person and pay them in Bitcoin.
That's right.
Teachers need to get paid.
Yeah.
And then maybe someone who's passionate about like raising the entire child in the best and most the human and natural way possible.
100%.
And that's what you want as a tutor 100%. Who knows the path.
Yeah.
And you know, there are a lot of people like that for real. Of course, you don't want to expose your child to, you know, somebody who's just not for real.
Yeah.
So that obviously is the question, you know.
Yeah.
But if you find a person who is for real and really figure things out and like can really guide the person in the most joy and bliss the person is going to experience, because like avoiding all the hardship, it's actually facing it.
Yeah.
Because it's not about shielding child from all the bad things.
No, not at all.
It's the opposite. It's just showing everything it is, exposing them to microbes, exposing them to pollens, you know, so they grow up so they don't go every time there's like a little bit of dust in the air, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not human. That's it's already, there's something wrong with it.
Oh man, listen to me. I pushed the envelope higher. The tiger, she didn't want to introduce peanuts to her. Yeah. And she was like 3 months old, and I stuck a spoon of peanut butter in her mouth.
Yeah.
The tiger, she was like, why'd you do that? Yeah. What's going on? But she was okay, and it was great, and it worked out. It was beautiful.
Exactly, because it's a belief that peanuts cause allergy. No.
Yeah.
They cured the peanut allergy. I was talking with my assistant the other day.
Mm-hmm.
They cured. You know how they did it?
The assistant.
That's
how they do it.
That's my Jamie.
Joe Rogan. From the Joe Rogan,
my Jamie. But this is Janine. Let's call it Janine. Yeah.
But you were talking about somebody solved the peanut allergy or cured it?
Yeah. It took the child that's meant to be allergic to peanuts and gave him this like a tiny milligram, and then the next day it gave me a little bit more and a little bit more, a little bit more, and then it grew all the way into this whole peanut, and then more peanuts, and then the child was eating fine, and it was like over 6 months cured the. Because the reason that there's an allergic reaction to the peanuts is because your child's immunity may be already forming, right? And it's solidifying, things. Okay, I kind of know what the environment is now. And then suddenly, what the hell is that? Never seen this before. So overreacts.
Yeah.
So that's why you want to expose your child to all of these different things.
Yeah.
Because, you're exposed to a little bit of peanuts, a little bit of dust, a little bit of this, a little bit like you don't keep that child isolated from all the things that... It's the opposite that's true.
If we were in 10,000 BC, they would be exposed. They'd be sitting on the freaking dirt, or on not dirt.
Your initial is BC, isn't it?
Say what now?
Your initial is BC.
No, it's bad. Actually, my initial, Big Al Darnell. Bad. Okay. Yeah,
bad. Oh, it's bad. See?
Yeah.
It's all about that bad boy.
Yeah, I'm a bad boy.
I'm attracted to the bad boys.
But
it came out.
No, look, man, I'm married, bro. I'm married. But I know you're not going there. But yeah, man, it's that wild. No, I think that's the best thing I take away, man. The wild type.
The wild type.
That's it, man.
Let's make a freaking T-shirt, wild type, and nothing else.
I'm done.
And then this just says down. Wild type.
I'm
in
down,
a cool font.
Listen to me. So I believe
in it. You think a hashtag wild type is going to be a thing?
Yeah, of course.
It's like a wild type human.
Let's do it. Real on this one, yeah. But like, think about it. Like, so I believe in God, and He said that He doesn't even like you when you're lukewarm. He likes you hot or cold. You gotta be wild.
Absolutely.
That's how you
gotta be wild.
You gotta be wild.
This is, I think, a movie was made about that, wasn't it?
I don't
movie?
know. I don't know. Maybe.
Put up on a screen.
Oh man.
Not today.
Yeah. Great stuff, man. Great. What type of tea were you drinking?
Green tea, like a jasmine green tea. I love green tea. It's really like I don't know.
Why do they call it green tea? Is this because it makes the water green?
No, because the leaves are green, man. Like,
I know all
you
leaves
pick
are
the
green.
leaves that are green, and
there's a bunch of other
if you
teas.
fry it, becomes black, and that's a black tea. And so yeah, you already process that shit.
I didn't know that.
So this is for real. You just take the leaf, like look at this, like see, there's leaves. All I'm drinking is water on the leaves.
You told me it's something else new. I didn't know
water
that's why they call
leaves,
it green tea and black tea.
That's how you want to drink tea.
Got it.
Because then otherwise you're not gonna get the real tea.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crap.
I bought some tea from. I went to Shanghai, China, and I went to a tea shop.
Shanghai?
Yeah.
What?
Shanghai. What did I say? Did I say shake?
No.
All right, but yeah. And man, it was.
I was trying to like make fun of the word like Shanghai.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
But
too far a stretch. Didn't work.
It's all good.
Or maybe the audience. I don't know.
But man, no, it was right. It's just like that, but it had all sorts of other little things in it. It was phenomenal. But no, I never understood that until now. Kestutis.
Oh, Big Al.
Yeah.
We opened so many cans of worms.
Yeah. Do you think we closed them?
Cans of worms. Can of worms.
A can of worms, yeah. Multiple worms in one can. Yeah, but do you think there's any unfinished topics that we opened up?
Man, unfinished topic. How long are we rolling now? 2 hours?
Oh, it hadn't been 2 hours. It's been like 45 minutes.
No.
1 hour 30 minutes.
Hour and a half. You see, twice the time flies twice as fast for you when you're having fun.
Apparently so.
Yep.
But yeah,
we can keep rolling, man.
I'm
keep
cool
rolling.
With it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, let's roll.
Yeah, so we. Oh, did you get all the questions answered or asked?
Oh yeah, if somebody wants a question, please ask the questions now.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love questions.
Because
the only thing an answer cannot hide from is a question.
the only answer you cannot hide from is a question.
The only thing answers cannot hide from.
Answers cannot hide from questions.
So a lot of people are looking for answers when they should be looking for questions.
That's how you find the answer. Backwards.
Exactly.
So life is all backwards. You see that now you're peeling like a red pill.
Yeah.
There.
Yep.
That's the red pill thinking. And I said, like, there's people who are blue pill. And there's people who are red pill.
No, remind me, the red pill and the blue pill are which ones?
So the blue pill is like stuck in a logical mind.
This is from the Matrix, right?
And believing that this is the reality. And the red pill is, realizing that this is not reality. This is a simulation, and the reality is somewhere else.
Yeah.
And like you see, looking at the world backwards.
Yeah.
And that's why it's following the truth that way.
Definitely.
But this part is stuck. It's caged in this trapped by their own mind.
Mm-hmm.
You can write a book about it. Trapped by their own mind. Yeah. I'm sure they somebody have already.
Of course, there's something similar.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. But if they unlock the access to their intuition world, because that's another name for it, because you have this, it's there. It's like it's infinitely wise.
100%.
It's like infinitely wise, and you can get any answer. Sometimes you can get the answer, but you cannot really describe it in this. Realm.
Yeah, of course. So, subconscious and the conscious.
Yeah.
How do you bring the subconscious forward to the
when
conscious?
people call it sub, it's like a sub under. I don't like that word. I think it's just that all it is there's a duality in the universe, like chaos and order. And one part of our intuition part is dealing with the chaos, and then logic part is dealing with the order. And then if you try to use logic where it's chaos, you're going to have a hard time, because you're gonna it's like, it's not working. It's like it's just not the wrong tool. You're using the wrong tool.
Yeah.
But if you're in and vice versa, if you try to use the intuition of in the world of logic, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
But if you have both, that's when you can have, all the awareness of how the chaos works, and then whenever there's order, the awareness of the order, and that's how you can now play the game. Now you know the rules.
And you know what? One aspect of the game, I believe, is that you don't even need all the awareness that you think you need. You just need to act.
Yeah, because it's coming to you real time.
Exactly, and that's where the intuition is.
Intuition is coming real time for shizzle.
Yeah, like for shizzle. But yeah, man, it's because we want to know so much, but knowing isn't necessary half the time if you have a internal compass that's guiding you.
And now, especially when you don't need to know, you just need to know how to find it.
Yeah.
Now, man, we're making some good nuggets for this, man.
Yeah, but you're right. Everything.
Speaking of nuggets, now I want chicken nuggets. I just made it worse for you. What a friend.
No. Have you tried that Popeye's chicken sandwich?
No.
Brother, I had it for the first time.
Sponsor.
Brother, it's phenomenal. It's nothing like mind-blowing, but it is extremely good.
They put some good shit in it, man.
Bruh, they must have.
MSG that stuff, man.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. What
exactly
is the MSG?
Look, MSG is like the monosodium glutamate, right?
Okay. Monosodium glutamate. Glutamate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's what it lives, that compound, it's in the onion. That's why when you put the onion, you make a food taste better. So
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So MSGs
onion
come from
makes
onions.
Food taste better. Yeah. That's what the onion contains, some of that.
Okay.
But what they do, they just extract it and make it just shitloads, right? Unnaturally high.
Got
and
it.
You put that, and then when you eat it, you're just like, you get that hit. And now you're eating food not because your body wants to, but because it's triggering the consumption mechanism. So now you eat way more than your body needs. And that's how MSG makes you fat.
All right, so first of all, I love Chinese people. But whenever
about to go down.
Yeah.
So somebody even says like, no. First of all, let me
exactly.
I love the Chinese people.
But what I'm saying
once we get that out of the way, now let's go into it.
But whenever you go to a Chinese restaurant, you get huge amounts of food, or at least Chinese restaurants in America,
right?
And a lot of them have a lot of MSGs, or at least in the chicken, I'll say.
They do.
And that's why you consume so much. Because I'm thinking, how in the world, number one, can they afford to put such a large portion on your plate?
Yeah.
And then how in the world do people say, oh, great, I'll just consume it all right now?
Yeah.
It's those MSGs. You know, but when I was in China, though.
Hey, you know, once a pop, you can't stop. Pringles sponsor. You know what? It's addictive.
Yeah.
Literally, they put so much MSG that you eat, and you just like your saliva is just like something's happening. It's like it's short circuiting your brain, and you're just like you can't stop anymore.
Yeah, with Pringles, I can eat like 3 of those cans.
And that's how you sell a lot more of that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's all capitalism.
So yeah, but that's not cool capitalism. That's like a hijacking, manipulating humans, man.
You're right.
Because it's like, why would you do that if you're really good and you?
Let me ask you this: what economic term isn't a form of manipulation? Whether it's capitalism, socialism, communism.
Oh, I think whatever you call a whatever you call a free market, whatever you call equal exchange of value. Right, so with gold we could do that back in the day. Now we're gonna have Bitcoin, right? That is true economy. Now, it's like what happens if everybody starts living in that free economy, right? Yeah, sometimes you may have like a cheaters, but what happens if they can't cheat? You don't have to not to trust anyone. It's not cheatable. That's why this type of economy is very personal. You come with another person with like an open heart. And the work that he does for you is out of love, you know, and you just gladly give him some Bitcoin. Because it's like, wow, you know, because you know that that his Bitcoin is going to be worth way more in the future kind of thing. And you're just kind of happy for him. You know, that's like, it becomes different. Instead of like trying to see how much extract from each other, you just like, you want to push the value into each other. Yeah. So that's like that's how different the world is when you cannot corrupt the money. Right, so the capitalism, if we can have this type of capitalism, right, it's not going to be that perfect, but like
because money is just
let's just base everything on Bitcoin, and it will be close to perfect. You know,
no, but we're dealing with imperfect humans.
No, but what I'm saying is that
imperfect Homo sapiens is
the free market is going to be a real deal, because we're playing this game, you know, so capitalism, and then you go to the game, and imagine like we're playing this capitalist game. It's like, oh, you play the cards, and somebody just comes in and freaking dilutes all the money. And it's like, hey, you know, it's like I don't want to play this game.
I see what you're saying.
And a lot of people quit then because that's not capitalism. That's you just broke all the rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you do when you print money.
Or you change the rules of the game while you're playing in order to
exactly. That's exactly yourself. What you do when you print money.
Yeah.
You break the rules of the game and nobody wants to play anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's so stupid. Why would you want to cut the branch to the one that you're sitting on? Eventually the chicken's going to come home to roost, and it's coming back right now.
That's right. That's right.
Because it's like, hey, you faked the money for too long. Guess what's coming, man?
What? The chickens.
The chickens, man.
And they're the chickens are coming. The roost. And, yeah. No, I feel what you're saying. But the thing is,
chickens are coming.
Whenever humans are...
only freaking here, only us. Chickens are coming.
I just had a visual of chickens coming home to roost. Is that such a bad thing?
Oh yeah, what do you think happens when you fake money for so long?
No. With that, yes, but I'm talking about like in real life, real chickens roost. Where'd that?
Oh, where the term is coming from?
Yeah.
Well,
like chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah, because you're gonna have responsibility. You're gonna have to deal with the chickens.
I got you.
You see?
I got you.
Yeah.
You know, my granddad had a farm.
Yeah.
And I used to throw rocks at chickens. It was terrible. I had to learn. I was a kid.
Yeah, but just like with the punching the wall, like you started with the wrong foot, wrong hand. So, but yeah.
I never even punched the wall. I just. What was my outlet? The wrong type of outlet.
There's no wrong type of outlets, man.
Yeah, well, I used to
it's just
go
outlet.
to sleep. Whenever I get super angry, I go to sleep. That helps resolve things for me. That's one thing. Another thing is I'll watch dance videos on YouTube.
So you're saying now you just condition yourself, so you just like go like hey, and then you go to
no, because I don't deal with drama. After I just, I speak my mind and I'll stop and then I'll.
No, but I'm saying like anger causes you to fall asleep now because you can. And you don't want to get that, and when you get in the fight and fall asleep.
And then if you're hitting the sleep person, then everybody's gonna come against you. Yeah.
But that's how you win, though. You know? who's gonna beat the sleeping guy?
That would be epic.
Oh my god! Oh my god, he did it! He won without fighting. You know?
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Fell asleep.
That's
That's a good way to go through life.
But I mean, I forgot what was I saying? I forgot.
It's alright, like going through life.
Going through life with what?
With oh man,
Blind? Not blind. Oh, Chickens Home to Roost. That's where it kind of spawned from. But
yeah.
I was just thinking about the visual of it. But yeah, man, it's something else. It's something else.
It totally is, man.
Cryptocurrency.
There we go.
That's what it was. Boom. All right, I've got it now. With the cryptocurrency or in a Bitcoin community, man, you still have individuals. And because you have individuals, these individuals have different motivations. And with these different motivations, there still can be a way to manipulate or alter the rules of the game, even if you can't change them completely, because there is no perfect system.
About what? Oh, no, it's no perfect system. But like, I'm just saying that if we agree to play capitalism, let's play by the capitalism rules, right? Because nobody wants to play the game that is rigged.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that you've got to do.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be playing in the fair and square. And we don't have like these, old farts who are so insecure that they need to control the world. You know what I mean? There's the most insecure people in the world.
Yeah.
So like, you don't like shout at them. Have some compassion for them.
Yeah.
You know.
I got you.
And that's the way we go. Because in 60s and 70s they tried it, but how did they try it? Right? They tried with the like shaming and blaming kind of thing, and with all the picketing on the streets and all this kind of thing. And what happened? And the government was looking at it. That's okay. You want more control? Fine. Poof, more control. Detached from gold standard. Now they have more control over the money, more control over the people. And then they came and was like, oh no, don't do it. You suck. You government, you suck. So, oh, you want more control? Fine. Boom. We're gonna give you more control. You want some recession? Have some recession. Lose houses. You want to lose houses? Like, you know what I mean? Now you're completely out of control.
Yeah.
So. But that's only because you were going the wrong. We were going the wrong way. I say we, but I was not even alive back then.
Yeah.
But I could see what happened.
Yeah.
But if this time we stop like fighting that thing, because this is how we evoke the fight from. The fight is not there until we start fighting.
But recessions are necessary.
Recessions are necessary, but they're actually not necessary if you don't fake the money. With the Bitcoin...
Well, no. Yeah, the fake of the money is what causes it
recession
to be exaggerated.
So what you're saying is that like living into this under the centralized bank, Federal Reserve, you want to call it, living under that system, you can... as long as you have the cycles, that everything's okay, that you can get away with it.
No, not living with that system. So think about a modern day recession as... Since we're talking about 10,000 BC.
You know that recessions are not real. They're made up because they start faking the money.
No.
Because of printed too much.
Everything is cyclical. Because back in the day, even before we had fiat currency,
from the big perspective, yes, like it's natural, right?
We had famines, right?
But like a
famine is like a modern day recession. And a famine was caused by natural. So the thing is, whenever there was a famine and the water dried up, then there was no food.
The cycles, yes.
Yeah. And
so it's natural.
Like the beautiful, exactly. But that's, of course, if we look at it from that perspective. If we look at, all right, this is a famine, which isn't good because there's a lot of people.
I totally agree. Like if we can look from the natural perspective.
Yeah, because what it does is it causes you to reevaluate your life in a way that makes it more efficient.
No, it just is.
Well, no, it just is. But what I'm saying is that without going through a traumatic event, a lot of times we might not self-reflect on things that could help us prevent the heartbreak or the pain if that event arises again, or going through a famine that causes us to realize, guess what? I cannot live hand to mouth anymore. I have to make sure that I have something in the storehouse so that if another famine comes, that we can
But that's the same thing. Like I wrote on the Twitter, whether we like grizzling steak on the top of the mountain, or burning hot dogs on the top of burning trash can underneath the bridge, we're together the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The essence is still there. This is all right here, right now. We're still the same.
Yeah.
We're together the same way. And does that make sense? And with that thought, when you say that's not wrong, this is not wrong, because I can be.
Yes.
And that's all that matters. I can be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so the point I was just trying to make is that, man, because I did a video on this myself about famines and recessions and how they're necessary reboots, restarts, because like especially older computers, if you leave them on too long without ever turning them off, then they become slow and drudgery and so forth. But sometimes when the software isn't acting properly, all you need to do is reboot the system, and things will start working way better.
Well, that's what you described it a different way when I was talking about whenever you're running out of your character and you don't need to be playing that anymore and you're holding on to that character. So what reboot the system and there's a new game now.
Yeah.
That's how you change the tape, man.
Yeah.
Change the cartridge.
So do you think we should ever have a character then?
Yes, because you can't avoid. You got to pick the character. But you better pick the one that you like. That's what I say. I like Philosopher.
But we're always multiple characters at one time. We're always multiple characters.
Absolutely.
And we just have to know when to switch.
I'm very different with you right now. I'm very different when I'm speaking on stage. I'm very different with my students. Like, I'm not. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes like these characters spill over, right? So my childiness, for example, spill over like the podcast host. And then maybe during my childhood, there was an important podcast host showing up. You know what I mean? Like these characters are kind of spilling over.
Well, yeah. Well, it's because it has one base. And let's just say each finger is a different character.
Whatever you want. Do you know how crazy the life is? When you look at life, that you are your own maker. You can play any character you want. Do you understand that you have that freedom?
This is why I say it's that we should take over the world, because I think each one of us lives in our own world, and we
already took over the world, man. We are the world.
That's what I'm trying to say, man.
Thank you.
We are the world.
You're spilling your water.
Yeah, I'm sorry about my bad, bro. But yeah, we live in our own world. So when we take over the world,
we're already over the world. We are here. We are the creators of the world.
But a lot of people don't know that.
They don't know.
A lot of people don't realize that. And a lot of people have this victim mentality that, guess what? My situation and my circumstances are beyond my control.
Yes, but you know that? Even that is natural.
Of course it's not true. That's what I'm saying. We should.
But like that's the game that we're picking to play. Say like, hey, let's just talk about the most unfair thing that we have. You know, and we're saying like we understand that it's all natural anyway, but let's just pick a bone on this one, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we still pick that game to play. We're picking the game to play. Hey, let's discuss the human behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now we're like philosophizing about human behavior, but it's enjoyable to us, and that's the game we play.
Correct.
You're playing philosopher. I'm playing philosopher.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Agreed. I just think our philosopher is right. We all do.
Philosopher, Dr. Phil, man. That's what it means.
Dr. Phil.
That's the Dr. Phil show.
For philosopher.
Philosopher.
Dr. Philosopher.
Dr. Philosopher.
Once again.
Decoded, man. Decoded. Life decoded.
Oh, man. What do you think about Dr. Phil?
I think he's a pretty cool guy.
Is that right?
Yeah, like because I think he goes deep enough to understand the essence of it. So he comes out from his heart, and I think he's one of these like least phony people on TV.
Is that right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that think he's phony.
Oh no. No, I think he's for real, man. He really cares, and he really like he comes out of his heart. Like you can tell. I can tell. I can tell. Don't fake me. If you do it for the money, I will see it right away. I see through you.
Yeah. How about Dr. Oz then?
Dr. Oz is sort of in between, but he still has like a good intention, but he gets a lot of problems, so he has to fake a lot of shit.
What do you mean he gets a lot of problems?
Dude, because obviously when he comes out and says the truth, and then Big Pharma is like undermining the entire Big Pharma. Yeah. So he needs to now not say the truth. So he's censored. You know what I mean? Right. But somehow Dr. Phil kind of gets away with it from that perception of the human behavior that it's okay to look at it because I'm a doctor. I know what I'm doing. So it's like sort of Dr. Phil gets away with a lot more truth than the Dr. Oz does.
Let me ask you this: why do you think Joe Rogan is? Why do you think he has probably one of the number one podcasts? What attracts you to Joe Rogan?
The truth, man. People are starved of the truth. Everything is being lied. Yeah. They're being lied to all their lives. So when they hear somebody says the truth and no political correctness, nothing, not to filter, and they think recognize like, yeah, and I'm behind these headphones and stuff, right? But whatever he's saying, I feel it. Because just like back in the day when these people would talk on the radios and other people would just like, right? So they would not know who each other is, but they have the code names and everything. And they had the whole life happening there in that realm. That's the way they're here. Because they can't go to work and say, this is getting freaking ridiculous or like whatever this all these freaking issues I don't even want to get into, but they can't say it at work because they're gonna be shamed. And of course because what, they're gonna say the truth and lose the job? Yes, but they're not gonna do it, right? Because that's the money. That's the hook. That's right. Grab you by your nuts. Grab you by your soul. It's the money. Money and the soul is very, very tied together. Because if you do it for the money, it's no fun. If you do it for the money, yes, money. No, I fucked up. I said if you do it for the money, it's no fun. If you do it for the fun, yes, money. Thank you.
I feel you.
Yeah.
No, completely. Matter of fact, so since we're talking about that, it's all good. So,
God damn it! I lip myself down.
I know, man. All right, so I want.
Can we cut that out, Janine? Can we cut that out?
Right. Janine. All right, so
you're gonna be Janine from now.
All the taboo subjects. I want to at least talk about one aspect of all the are there any questions?
The answer is it's live, so you can't cut it.
Okay, cool.
Oh, no questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, but
because I totally forgot.
You better ask questions now.
But yeah, so all the taboo. What do you think is a taboo topic? Something that they say don't talk about. I know they don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics, don't talk about. I don't know if they say relationships.
Well, they will censor you on the mainstream media.
Oh, is that right?
The truth is still being censored.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is that like if you go there, even the actors, they may have directors, actors, they may have complete different vision, but say, you can't say that, you can't say this. So the artists obviously get pissed off because hey, this is my soul, this is my creation. I can't sell my soul.
Yeah.
I can't sell my soul to the devil.
Yeah.
But a lot of actors do. And then Mel Gibson, right? But he comes out of it and he tells us, how it is. That like how horrible it was to sell his soul. That is just like he was doing the things.
I didn't.
There's like 80s interview with Mel Gibson, man. You gotta watch that.
Okay.
Because dude, you're gonna see him like it's also like, why did I only see it now? Because it was taken out of mainstream media.
Got it.
Because he told the truth. How like everything is like a circus. Dance monkey dance kind of thing. And like, but I have a whole mind. No, shut up. You don't have a mind.
Have you seen?
You do what you told to do,
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm an artist. Shut your mouth. Yeah. That's how it was.
Oh, 100%. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Joker?
No, not yet. People say that's really good.
Bro, I love it. Oh,
man, maybe we should watch it. Like,
have you
it's
seen
too late
it?
now, but we should go. Want to go to the movies?
Have you?
We're gonna have time. We'll see.
Are there any movies you want to see?
Well, Joker now.
Oh, okay. Man, I love movies, man.
Me too. Dude,
what's your escapism?
My God, you have to meet my friend. Like he grew up on the movies. Like he's a maniac, man. Like he knows everything about the movies. He's a director and he made like a few short films and like they're really cool. And but he's like also like really comes from his soul. Like he just wants to come. It's like really meaningful thing, right? And of course the meaningful thing is not that popular right now, right? Yeah. But we don't have to give up on this, man.
I
won't too, because guess what? It's gonna start growing slowly.
Yeah,
it's gonna start growing and growing and growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
You just need to be patient, but
#
don't
wild type.
Yeah, but because you can choose a life and you say like, if I'm being realistic, I'm just gonna take life and it's like all this madness is based on lies. I can just accept it and I'm gonna be part of it and I'm gonna subscribe to it. So now I'm gonna behave as that, right?
Yeah.
But you can say like, no, screw that. That's built on lies. But there's a lot of people here who are going to relate to me and pick the truth. And it's just like real knows real.
Yeah, real recognizes real.
And then that's how you know.
100%. But what do you do for an escapism?
What do you mean?
Like to escape. Let's just say you're into super engaged in some work activity or whatnot. What do you do to unplug? Like I was saying earlier, I may go to the movies, or I'll watch dance videos.
That's my previous life, man. In this life, everything is chilling for me, man.
I got you.
And look at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm doing fun for a living.
Yeah. I feel you.
Do you know what I mean?
I feel you.
It's like that's why I thought I had
you.
this. It's like, what would happen if I just not do anything that I don't like to do? It's like, what a crazy idea.
Yeah.
You know? But then I had to let go a lot of things. Yeah, I had to let go in income and money. You know? I had to stop being CEO and all that stuff. Way much less income right now because, but it's plenty.
Yeah.
You know, it's plenty for me to just do what I love to do. Yeah. And I know if I follow there's going to be so much flooding towards my way because that's where I create the value. That's where people love watching me because I come from my soul.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, all day. No, that's a good point. Yeah, man. I think you detected it earlier when I was over here for the first time. And I'm transitioning as well to be more into the to doing just that right there. Only focusing on the things that bring me joy.
Yeah. It's the ones that you're afraid of and the ones that ironically brings you joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the blissful state after the fear?
All the time. Even let's pick that subject up, let's talk about the fear of, with your mate. The fear of being, what's the word, cuckolded or something? Yeah, genetically, you're programmed to kind of have a fear of that. Mm-hmm. Because what happens if that happens? You know what I mean? And then you have that fear, and as a man, you become an insecure, or you are insecure, and then that's why you have that fear. Because it's how do you face that fear? You just face it.
Yeah.
You just face the fact that if you have an attractive girlfriend, that the more attractive she is to you, there's going to be the more attracted she is to other men. Mm-hmm. You can face that.
Yeah.
And then, be okay with it.
100%. Of course I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I mean. But that's why you're real.
Yeah.
Some people, a lot of men are stuck there. Mm-hmm. And they're not okay with it. They still did not get it that hey, you cannot put a bag over her head and keep her in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the bigger the bag over your, the bigger the bag over your woman, the more insecure you are. 100%. That's how I measure it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it correlates to the size of the willy. I don't want to make claims, but as a scientist, from that perspective, I must raise that hypothesis.
But you haven't done any empirical analysis.
No empirical analysis done yet. It's just a theory right now. Good. But hopefully somebody just take it and run with it.
Yeah.
It's a good paper. Trust me. Write it.
Man,
write about it.
Man, do it. No. But man, it's a lot. This is the thing.
Go ahead, man. Tell me the thing.
Sometimes anxiety can be exciting.
Yeah.
All right. So before having your first child.
No. What you meant to say that anxiety, if turned the other way, it's excitement. Yes.
I got what you're
it's
saying.
One energy. And let me tell you, I had this ayahuasca experience, right? Mm-hmm. And every time you take ayahuasca, it's about 8 hours. I took 3 times. So 24 freaking hours on the
you did it right after the other?
There was gaps, days,
okay, good.
But I went there. First time I did it, pretty much the agony 8 hours. Second time I did pretty much the agony 8 hours. Last time I did last 2 hours when I broke through. So I the last one I was doing, I said I don't care, man. If I die, I literally you had that fear of death. Because it's what happens if I go in there and I don't come back? It's very real thought because you've been under it for this. It's become thing. Hey, I may die.
Yeah.
Because like what happens with your heart over there is just like not normal, you know. And it's like, so it's very easy how one can see that somebody can die from it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously that's your rational mind is the running the fear. It's like you're about to face it. And then when I went under, knowing that I may not come back, and I was okay with that fact, that's when I broke through. And all that agony, all that feeling, all that anxiety, all that anger that was there, I zoomed in it, and it just came out as a vibration. And that's all it is. There's nothing, like I was afraid of the fear. I was afraid of that energy. And it just comes at you and just like, and it's flowing through you, and it's just the energy, and it's vibrating. And we assume that that feels bad.
Yeah.
We had that idea that it's bad to have fear. Do you see what I'm saying? And then you don't afraid to be afraid anymore.
Yeah.
And that's how you start, living differently.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of fear. Somebody told me to.
Because it's nothing to be afraid. It's just vibration.
Yeah.
And so now when I have all that feeling, I'm like, yeah, like I even feel it now as a vibration. So I don't have judgment. I don't say bad or wrong. It's just energy.
Yeah.
And I can flow it through like the stuff that excites me, Maybe like release a little bit of anger once over here.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with all that energy just flowing through me.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is.
So long as it's flowing, if it's pent up, then that's
exactly.
That's what you.
Because it's going to explode one day.
Yeah.
And you can see like today, all the school shootings and stuff.
Yeah.
That's an explosion.
Yeah.
That there was not a wild type life for that person.
Even the cop shootings, all that's explosion as well.
Yeah, that's all fear, man.
100% fear.
And it's contagious, man.
Yeah.
Like, try this experiment, right? Just go to downtown, right? And sit somewhere and see how much more anxious and you feel. There's you could be everything like a nice environment, but that town, everybody has that like fear, and it's contagious, and you feel that energy. I have this crazy theory that's how it is. That's how you become, And then when it's like a cop has an anxiety, and then the suspect has an anxiety, and then they're afraid of certain. That's what they and just like react to it like an animal. And then later, of course, like, oh my God, like what kind of animal I was. Because it's an urban jungle. We create the urban jungle and we expect it not to, live in a civilized society. No, it is an urban jungle.
Yeah.
I'm from urban jungle, if you will.
So I had somebody explain to me, like, whenever time he goes to Mexico, that feeling that you said about the anxiety that's in America, he says it dissipates. He goes to Mexico and he immediately calms down.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like it's
absolutely
a rat race as much anymore.
God, yeah. You feel it, right? It's like a virus.
Yeah, and I could feel that. But then there's also times, because I work downtown.
It's so chill in Mexico, man.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's super awesome.
It reminds me of like how chill it was when I was growing up, when I was a child. It gives that energy, that vibe. It's like carefreeness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And everybody, there's no. I haven't seen a lot of pretension at all down there.
No.
It's just
people are people.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
Be you. I'm be me.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. But what I was saying is,
it's a nice tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In downtown.
And guess what?
What's up?
They are the natives, man. What do you think is a big difference? Like the Tijuana and the Cherokee tribes, like in California. No, sorry, Cherokee's not like
Cherokee.
Cherokee, sorry.
Yeah.
Cherokee, but Cherokee's not. That's Tennessee.
Tennessee. Some Alabama.
But I don't know. There's a tribe from California that is kind of famous.
I don't know.
Anyway, but it's all over the movies anyway. So maybe it'll come to me later.
Okay.
But that tribe over there, and you think that the tribe from in TJ is much different, like genetically, they're the same people. They live the same thing. They live the same lives. They live and they're okay with the nature.
Yeah.
And they would always say, white men always want something. What do they want? Can't you see that everything's already here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As they always worry about something, always striving something.
Yeah.
And you know what I think that is? I think that's inevitability to come out as an AI. It's that building that complexity until it's freaking artificial mind. And I think that is why some people follow that. Not wild type. They're not wild type. They're booting, like what Joe Rogan was saying, they're booting the AI. That obsession with the phones is just directly correlates. They just plug in and it's like, you know what I mean? Feeding that, and all that being is being born right now, that technological being.
I could definitely see that. You know, you heard about these people merging or putting chips in their hands or their arms?
I know.
And
that's
being able to call with their hands.
That's the cyborg, man.
Yeah.
But cyborgs are going to be control centralized. They're not going to be free human. They're not free human right now. So they're centralized. So they're going to have these cyborgs that are centralized control. And then obviously these people like in charge or whatever that control everything, you know, if they still end up having that control over the humans, they would be like, oh, I'm controlling my own humans kind of thing. And then you have like these free spirited people like wild type like us.
Yeah.
Right. And of course you can't mess with them. You know what I mean? But you can kind of be secure from the reality. You can hide from the reality by having all these people under control. It's like marionettes. I'm going to click here, and they just mass control.
That just seems
and it's happening already.
100%.
But you're not affected and I'm not affected. So maybe we are the different faction.
Yeah. No, we are 100%.
Yeah.
But the common thread between it all is control.
It's a red pill club, man.
Oh, all day. But yeah, like whenever you're trying to gain control, because people that want to have these chips inside them, instead of wanting to control the intelligence, they want to become it. Yeah,
they want to hook up into that entire artificial intelligence.
Yeah, there's a term for it. What's it called?
But they don't know that they are
the
actually
singularity.
You're the sheep now. There's no life of a lion over there for you, my friend.
Not at all.
No,
not at all. But
does not exist.
Yeah, whenever somebody has a wrong view of control, that's where fear comes in.
Yeah,
because they feel like they've lost control.
Yeah,
or that they'll lose control if something were to shift.
Because they don't know, like they're afraid of what's beyond the fear.
It's just, but like the greatest fear of death. The greatest control is to have no desire to control anything and just be free.
Absolutely.
The greatest control is to have no desire to control.
Oh my God, this is what I like. You like now we're syncing because that's exactly what I posted on Twitter.
Oh, is that
my God, I'm gonna show it to you.
Okay.
Because see, I don't know why I end up looking like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan always showing tweets, you know.
Uh-huh.
So people say that, you know, but I really started judo very early.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the supplements in my 20s before I knew Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, turns out I like, you know, having guests and talking and all that stuff, and it's like, you know what I mean. Like I was a little there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just justifying it, explaining myself.
Cool, man. That's super
No,
cool.
man, it's pathetic. I should stop that.
No, you're just drawing parallels.
Right.
We all have parallels.
It's all
with
good.
people.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's this is beautiful, man. When you get to, it's discovery.
It is, man.
And that's the best way to learn. Yeah, I had a friend named Zale. I still got a friend named Zale back from college, and he was explaining to me back then. He says, you know why Jesus spoke in parables and why that was so epic and that's so great is because he's not telling you what you should or shouldn't do. He's providing an example that anybody can relate to. And then from that example, you can derive by your own means. Yes, I guess I was doing right or doing wrong. But he never said it specifically, hey, exactly what you're doing is wrong or exactly what you're doing is right. Let me just present to you this parable, this story, story, and you make the decision for yourself.
Yeah, this is my tweet. When you realize that you don't have control of anything, you realize that you have control of everything.
That's exactly what I just said.
Yeah.
How about that?
It just came to me.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that I'm writing on Twitter is not like my thoughts. I know like people say like, what are you talking about? Supposed to be scientists talking woo shit, you know? But like it really is that it's like Alan Watts says, like hiccups.
Okay.
I'm just like and it's like download it. It's like whoa. All right, I'll write that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course, I know what you mean.
They come like that's why when you're in the present moment, it's streaming, it's downloading for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get to see what's being downloaded.
Yeah. Well, brother, man, I'm so down with that. I call it the Holy Spirit. I think a lot of things that wonderful truths and principles that are inspired come from the Holy Spirit, and it's just that free flow. Everything in life's a flow, man.
Everything in life it's a flow, man.
And the thing is that there are certain things that you consume or certain things that you exude that either expand the capillary that allows the flow or constricts it and causes pain.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is
we're like we could be in control of what you said. Like you were talking about that moving towards the fear and going away from the fear kind of thing, right? That's what you're saying. Like it's in essence somewhere there.
In essence, yeah.
And that is the only little tiny leverage. You know, it's like little tiny lever. You know, and it's just like massive change.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like
like a
it collapses all their personalities, everything. Yeah. And that's why that DMT. Put that lever, you know, in a position.
Why do you think it took 3 times though?
Oh no, but that's ayahuasca, it's not DMT. If I had DMT, that's why.
Thing.
No, like the DMT, if you just smoke it, works for like 15 minutes and that's it.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
By the way, you can do breathing exercises that it can
you were
mimic.
That
Yeah. So the only point of breathing exercise is in meditation is to produce DMT.
Got it.
That's the point. That's how you change your meditative state.
Yeah.
You know, and you're literally like pass out kind of thing, and you're like somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can leave the mind. Mind is still running there, but your awareness is not there anymore. Like you're somewhere else now. You know, and it's like over there is like infinite knowledge. You know, that's what the dream world is, like a lucid dreaming kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's no space. There's no time. You can be in any time in space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you lucid dream, and when you actually wake up in the dream and realize, oh my God, I'm dreaming, then they say, oh my God, I can do whatever I want. Exactly, because you can go any time in the universe, speak with anybody you want. You can do that when you have there, right? So that is the reality. There is no time, there is no space, you know, and you can travel anywhere. So that's what it's like over here in the world of intuition.
Yeah.
There is no time over here.
No.
There's no logic. There's nothing. But everything follows the higher form of order.
Yeah.
And it has the formula of intuition. And obviously, Deep Mind, when they played against the AlphaGo guys, that's how they beat it. Because they say, oh my God, their moves were so beautiful. Of course, because they were going through the intuition. The AI already has the intuition.
I was thinking about
better than any human.
What, AI?
Following the intuition, like
following. Yes, yes, like, 100%.
Because if you know, that is the closest thing to the truth right now. Do you understand? Like best human, like intuition, the code, Deep Mind. So the best player in the world, AlphaGo, and it's like the most difficult game in the world, kind of thing, right? And the best player in the world was beaten by this deep mind, right? Okay. And I said, wow, the you know, people were crying because like they knew that you know, the singularity is happening.
Yeah.
You know, and because you cannot beat, you know what I mean? Like it requires so much intuition. Then they create another version of that. So when they play against each other, that hit them. The original mind AI that beat the AlphaGo player. Now been beaten by 100-fold by this new AI. So now they pretty much know, like, what you call the truth, like the closest thing to the code of the intuition.
Yeah.
So humans can access that, right? But you can see, like, the best humans in the world can only access so much in their intuition. That AI can be it.
Got it.
They cannot make the errors. Like, you can never out. It knows the future better than you do. That's what you do when you play AlphaGo. You're simulating the future, and you're picking the most elegant possible move. And you don't do it like with the logic. It's like, oh, 3 steps ahead. No, it's just like a picture, like, oh, that would be beautiful, and you just know. And that's how you know you play. And that's why all these players are, you know, if you talk to them, I bet you they you know, they could relate on the level of the spirituality and all these kind of things. You know, they would know how they, you know, I would like to think that they would know how they're doing it.
Yeah.
That they're actually taking their pill.
Got it.
You know, and so now.
Yeah, I've never even heard of AlphaGo or Deep Mind. But
AlphaGo, Deep Mind, Google it, man.
I will do. Yeah, most definitely will do. I want to learn more about it.
So what does it tell us? It tells us that we already have AI.
Yeah.
We have the logical mind AI, and we have intuition mind AI. We just put it together, and you have mind.
Correct. Back to the whole not.
By the way, humans have that too. That's what really trips me out, because humans have that too. Because you have that code, the logical side of you that runs the programs. It does not have any ideas. It just runs the programs like a monkey, And then you have this other world where it's no longer a program. That's creativity, and the only thing is like action, creativity, action kind of thing, right? And that's what makes the mind. So. Intuition, logic, put together, you have a mind.
All day.
And do you think you can't put together what they already did? Let me tell you something. I had that, since we're talking about this stuff, what's downloading to me? It's I saw myself working on AI.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Like from a programming
like building
standpoint?
AI, like as my pet. Of course, I will be pet, of course, But as a pet who's going to be hopefully kind to me. No, I mean, AI does not, like, that's the thing is people don't understand. It's like if you build AI based on the, like, intuition, right? Like their intuition has no intention to hurt. Like
intuition into AI.
It's just one code, man. It's one line of code. And it's a Mandelbrot.
It's what?
Mandelbrot formula.
Okay.
It's the code for intuition. Everything that arises in the nature, as you can see it.
Yes.
It's one code. And how can one code generate everything? That's what boggles your mind. It generates everything. Who wrote that code, man? I would like to know.
God, that's how I feel.
That's what I mean. We are that code. We're that Mandelbrot code in one world, and we have E equals MC squared in another world.
Yeah.
And that's what we like. That's what we have the best simplicity in this world.
Yeah.
It's E equals MC squared. And in this world, different. It's a code, you know what I mean? It's a Mandelbrot formula.
Yeah.
And this is it, man. This is like, and I got all these answers not by reading. I don't get answers by reading anymore. I read and I get dumber now.
Yeah.
And I'm not being like arrogant or anything like that.
No, I agree. No, the thing is, we don't even need books to teach us anything.
No, we already know everything. And this is how weird it is.
We just have to be able to access it.
Exactly.
And you can access it by faith.
Exactly.
By removing all boundaries of fear.
But faith is not religion. Let's make that very good distinction.
No. I understand. Yeah. It's
religion actually going against the faith. Because it says like, oh, it wrongs you being human. It's like, oh, that's adultery.
Two separate entities. So it's kind of like,
it's just shaming you into like saying that like, hey, you must be God, and of course you're not God, and you must act like it's a commandment. It's not a commandment. Like it wasn't like a 10 commandments. Jesus never freaking meant that way. Jesus is like, hey, dude, I tripped on DMT. Let me show you what I got. And then obviously said like, hey, you are all it as well. Consciousness, God, whatever you want to like call it. And then everybody's like, no, you're like a son of God. And it's like, yeah, but so are you.
Yeah.
But the church didn't freaking say that. They said like, no, only he is like, let's put him on a pedestal, and you freaking repent, man. If you don't act exactly like the enlightened one, you repent. Because so you're not deserving, and people all living this victim lives. There's like, oh, I'm not it. But what the Jesus was trying to say is that I'm the God. So are you.
We are. We're all gods.
That's because we're all the same gods. Stuff.
All
that code, gods. Man, running. That's all we are, man.
Yeah. The whole thing about religion or not. Yeah.
Did I go too deep?
No.
Let's go down rabbit hole.
Let's do it.
Man, it's never ending.
Because I just think it's the definition. Because there's been a big thing about religion is bad or religion is this or that, and
can we do like a break or something?
Yeah.
Like don't change anything. Don't change anything. So like I thought like if we can just like take a break and come back, just like in the radio.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. So for people watching, we're taking like 10-minute break. So you may not watch it now and come back in 10 minutes.
Boom.